Okay.
In lieu of our normal chaos being.
No.
Yay? Is that the word?
Stop it.
Who wants to recap?
Stop.
I wanted to.
Who's willing to
Do it,
recap?
coward.
Devin would leave the voice chat, but he's recording.
Yeah. You're not wrong. We started last time with a conversation with Kalda. Basically just Alsana wanting to be much more thorough with the conversation rather than Kane going, "Hey, are you bad?" No. Okay. And so had a kind of a piney conversation. Spiky, I don't know. Two porcupines kind of like looking at each other. And basic over under was also mainly had was pretty sure that Kalto was okay for now. But hindsight's a bitch, and none of it really mattered. So we then proceed to I think we're in the camp. I think we're about to make breakfast.
Yes, it's breakfast.
And Kane goes and tries to find Talon for some reason. I think it was eggs.
I was trying to just find some eggs so I can make some egg bacon. That's all I was trying to do.
But he goes ahead and he gives a look around to find either Talon or someone else who can help him, and comes across Dalda in all her weird alchemical glory. Best gnome ever. Yes, she's a gnome. So Kane opens the door and is basically like, "Hey, I got this potion thing that you might want to try. Maybe you know, maybe just drink it and I can see what happens and write it down on a clipboard." Later found out this was a potion made of Dittany, attempting to remove its more horrific effects. Like basically turning you into a vampire if the oils come in contact with your skin. I don't know.
It wasn't so much a potion made of Dittany as a potion that happened to include Dittany.
Yeah, but still.
Dittany was
Either
one
way.
of a long list of active ingredients.
It wasn't a potion. It wasn't a potion purely made of arsenic, but it did have arsenic in it. You know.
To be fair, that describes a lot of how chemistry works.
Yeah. You know?
I know. Just it was specifically
That
her
being
trying
said,
to
either way,
reduce the
That
effects
part
of
of the
Dittany.
session can be described as Kane and the no good, very bad, absolutely awful morning.
Yep. You got a freaking sacred flame to the face and some burns on the arms.
A snowball to the skull.
Yep. He chewed on the snowball after a while. After that, was there anything else we really did in the camp? I think Calda had another conversation with Rose.
Yeah, just like a thing of like, hey, we're heading out at a place. We're gonna figure out if you're gonna stay here or not. And
Yep.
it's still consideration or not of bringing her back to Ambarian, which Kalda was talked out of by Alsana.
And then Rose broke our heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's like, "Oh, you're leaving," and everyone's just like, "Oh."
Don't worry, it won't be as long as last time. Oh.
like
Yeah.
Ariel, if you ever need to punch us in the gut from across the globe, that's how you do it. But yeah, that and eventually we decided that hey, we should go stop. At least Alsana and Calda are going to go stop by Threshold to go ask Claddy like, hey, what's up with this? Do you know anything about like weird like people who look like people, or if it's like some sort of long lost sister? I don't know. We don't know. But boy, did we find
Which the lore drop
it.
was mind-boggling.
Yep. But in the meanwhile, as well, Kane went with Alaris to go visit Auntie at first, and then made his way kind of back, the way we came over to Soren to go see his girlfriend.
Yep.
Like a freaking loser. No.
What a sappy letter.
Yeah. But only those two know it, so I can't really recap it. And then, yeah, called in Alsana, show up at Threshold, say hi to Tokuni, and go, hey, can we talk to your grandpa about a little something? proceed to go talk to him. Ask about it. He's weird and evasive, and Alsana proceeds to hit the nail on the fucking head. And I'm still proud of it. Turns out, we're not the only material plane. Because back in the times of gods creating the world and such, they go, things need to be in balance. And so they decided to put the worlds in balance on a scale. This being more literal than is probably generally assumed and accepted. So there's two worlds, and these two material places are just slightly different from each other. And if someone's like a regular old farmer, you know, who's kind of not, he's not a paragon of justice and good, but he's not a jackass either, you might just find the similar farmer on the other side. But, you know, you go find the holy paladin who smites all undead and is the nicest and gives to charity, and he might be kind of a terrible person on the other side. The good and evil flips. And we find out that the reason they knew to go send for us specifically is because it's us on the other side that's currently a problem.
You know what's a horrifying realization? That means that somewhere, in another world, there is a version of Roy who's a pretty decent dad.
And yet it led to Kane and Alsana being the universal threat.
I headcanon that somehow.
I just
The other
assume
Kane's
he
a better
died. I just assume he was a loving father who had 2 kids with 2 lovely women, even after a amiably ended divorce, and then he died when Kane was born.
He was never late for his payments. It was all great.
But he just dead.
He just fucking did it one day.
But yeah, and we find out that they're currently having a grand old time hitting up all the shrines in their spots, and gaining power, and are like kind of getting ready to kind of break through the other side and be just general issues. And also they killed the Claudia equivalent, which, although it's only humanoids that have actual equivalents, there are still people who fill the same roles. So the threshold management equivalent to Claddy, not the literal equivalent to Claddy, is dead on the other side. Also, some of the people with the mask who are currently in Threshold, the reason they wear masks is because they have the exact same face as other people in this world, and so they wear masks all the time not to avoid the confusion. Fuck!
Wow.
Also, there's like new contacts for like 7 different like odd like lore stories Alsana knew from session 1. One being literally called The Knight in the Mirror.
Horrifying.
And you just look at it and you go, Ariel, you fucker.
Devin's having a crisis.
Oh, I don't blame him. This lore drop is a kick in the back of the brain.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just refreshing both the information and the emotions behind it for you guys. This is a twofold recap.
To be fair, I feel like most of these was just the revelation of that went on in Devin's brain while he was hearing all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the general understanding is we have to go and basically grind for levels until we can fight ourselves.
Which, like, hey, Kane's been fighting with himself for the past, 20-something years. Let's go.
Also, they're probably in the same wheelhouse as us, but might not be exact. So, we might find a paladin who's a blade lock or something, but generally Alsana's not going to be swinging a great sword and wearing heavy armor.
Although I would love to see that.
Yeah, no. I'm horrifically curious at what the hell Ariel's interpretation of evil Alsana is.
If it's not a warlock, I'm going to throw a fit.
She's about information and study. It could be a wizard. Anyways, yeah, that happened, and Claddy's like, oh, well, there's only 2 of you here right now. I kind of intended to do it when you were all here, and I kind of intended to do it when you did all the shrines, because I fucking hold out on information on you guys. But decide...
Nah, it was just a solid reveal.
Yeah, but again, apparently we got it early. So there's that, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll boot up the old dream machine, to catch Kane and Alaris up on. And Kane and Alaris proceed to wake up, look at each other, and go, fuck.
Ah!
Yep, mild existential crisis.
Yeah.
Possible rewriting of our understanding of the universe as we know it.
And then the next day,
Okay.
they go out for a nice sorry, what's the day? What's the day's name? The
Day of Splendor.
Day of Splendor. They go out for a nice day of splendor. Kango has a date with his librarian GF. Alsana just like gets Tokuni out of Threshold for like more than an hour for something other than like training. I don't know if Calder comes along, maybe.
She probably would. At
Alright,
that point, she's like, "We're going out. I need to leave."
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
and bitch, we're going Festivus.
yeah. Also, the reason Tokuni didn't really like us at all at the beginning is because she saw our faces before on wanted posters.
Oh.
Which, like,
Right.
understandable. And to be fair, at least Kane and Alsana's face looks like they should be on wanted posters. Just to be fair.
But I think that's most all of it. And we also, when we left, we decided we were going to also check Long Lake because there's something weird going in Long Lake, and Alsana would have died if she took 3 steps forward in Long Lake. But past that, also I have a vague premonition of things that might be coming.
Just
But
because.
no, because were you there for the Monday session ending with the big fight
Which one?
Last week.
last week's?
Yes. Do I recall what it was?
Okay,
No.
don't worry. Okay, we're not gonna worry about it in this.
Okay.
All I'm saying is maybe make sure Kane can get out of grapples, and maybe have some resistance to poison. Anyways, we're heading our way to Long Lake after a few days, but we're first going to meet up in Soren, I think it was said.
I assume so. I've been assuming that Kane took the
Yeah,
day in
makes
Soren,
sense.
you two took the day in Threshold.
Yep.
Elaris, probably you headed to Walton, I assume, to visit your own family.
Yes.
I'm basically padding out a few days for you guys to go back and forth, meet up in Soren, and then head over to Long Lake.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
I'm going to say that you guys got to Long Lake on the 16th, which is the middle of the month, the night of the new moon.
Also, just as a side note, Alsana would have stopped by her bee druid friend, and Calder might have met her
Yep.
more properly. So, Alsana might have maybe apprenticed and stationed a apiarist druid at the Soren Shrine.
It's so cute.
She has bees. She keeps bees.
It's so
And
cute.
really,
And Calder might have gotten like a honey cookie or something.
It's so cute.
Um,
and really, can you ever mistrust someone who raises bees?
Are bees nice? Yeah.
They have to be, right?
I don't know.
So she's our new unicorn. And was there something I was gonna give her? I'm trying to remember. No, but she was going to mention that, hey, if ever you want to go further in depth with things, maybe you can stop by my old druid on conclave camp, whatever. But we head to Long Lake. Who is knocking their head around in a globe?
That would be John.
What are you doing, John?
He's trying to make the snow fall. You just.
Okay.
All right. So, you guys gather together. You head out of Soren for kind of a long day's journey towards Long Lake and towards the nearest little town on its shores. A tiny hamlet known as Brenning Cove. It's a somewhat cool for the season night when you arrive in the Brenning Cove. There's not really an inn, but somebody in town will probably open their doors to you. People have to believe in hospitality when they're off on their own. They're a quiet people for the most part. Watchful. Careful. There's not a lot of boisterous conversation or music or storytelling, but you are given some basic food and a place to sleep for the night. It's not the most luxurious by any stretch, but at the very least, you'll be able to rest.
Remind me, did Alsana get any sort of reputation here?
I
Is
don't
that right?
believe Alsana was there long enough.
Yeah.
No.
She was just stopped in for a few days. Maybe she could find like the person that she stayed with last time.
Probably.
Alright.
And
Of
Kane's
note,
gonna-
also, you all know that this is a thoroughly landlocked lake. It's large, but not on the same scale as Green Lake and nowhere near the Merrimore. But unlike any other body of water in this region of Mageria, the air is heavy with the scent of salt. This
Kane's
is not
gonna-
a freshwater lake. Kane?
Probably gonna ask the whoever he's taking his refuge with, who lives around here. How's the fishing? Is it good as you can expect from a wonder like this?
That's pretty good. We tend to just fish off the docks and the piers. We go out in a little bit in small boats. It keeps us fed.
Why don't you go to the deeper waters when there are bigger fish?
It gives you a bit of an odd look. Nobody goes to the deeper waters. Nobody goes and comes back, at any rate.
That makes more sense. I just seemed odd that no one would think of that. Does anyone particularly
Further-
know why, or is it just mysterious disappearances?
Furthest anybody ever went out and returned, they said they saw great rocks in the middle of the water. Probably, given the mists that rise in the mornings and the evenings, people who headed out found foul winds, unclear water, unclear air, ran into the rocks, and, well, you can have a strong swimmer, but you'd have to be pretty strong to swim for miles to get back here.
Mildly concerning. Alright. Has anyone ever... That's probably a stupid question. Anyone with a spyglass ever decided to look across it? What they can find?
You think anybody here has the money for one of those? That's a fancy toy for kings and nothing else.
Kane's gonna reach into his bag and try to pull out a spyglass.
That's getting into some interesting waters, given the cost of the darn things.
Like 50
I
gold.
will... I'm pretty sure they're expensive. Hold on. If I'm remembering correctly, they're, like, ridiculous.
They are expensive, but I don't think they're like 1,000 gold or anything. I think they're like 50 or 500 or something.
Maybe they are, maybe I'm misremembering. If so, I'll let you go ahead. Hold on one second. Spyglass, 1,000 gold pieces.
Jesus!
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
I told you.
I had the mental thought of like 750, but fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so I now know that there's a cost limit to what I can pull out.
Yeah, there generally is. It's not a hard and fast cost limit. I'll say that you could make the attempt, but the scale might be thrown off of the usual, like, success failure.
I'll give it a try.
Basically, if you get a 20, then you get a spyglass. If you get a 15 to 19, you kind of get 2 pieces of glass in a tube of wood that kind of works but has distorted images. 7 to 14, you basically get a toy that looks like one, and then 6 and below, you fail.
Okay.
Oh boy.
If Ty, you can make a roll for me, please. Just
Oh,
20.
fuck yeah, you're not on roll 20. Let's go. 1d20.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sorry.
That's a 10. You kind of get,
Okay.
like, the children's toy equivalent. It's not gonna work.
And those checks, I goes, that's mildly disappointing. Just put it back in the bag. Well, fair enough. Is the fish any good at least to eat?
Of note, you guys have been eating a meal of kind of this rough, heavy brown bread and basically dried and preserved and salted fish.
Okay, alright, I'll have to
It's-
ask then.
Hmm?
Is it real stick to our ribs?
Is it a hearty
Food?
meal?
Well, you can see ribs. You can see ribs in the fish for sure.
They do kind of stick
Okay,
you.
fair point. Oh,
And
no,
a
no,
fish
wait,
harder.
wait, shit,
Had
shit.
a dried fish harder too.
Yeah, it's it'll do you for the night. It's not anything. You're not going to go to bed with a very full feeling. That said, it's not bad as far as fish goes.
Any tartar sauce, or are we just talking just bread and fish?
Bread and fish.
Alright.
Bread and fish and some water from the town well, which is fresh water. They collect it
Okay, now
mainly
that's
from the
interesting.
rain. They've got some groundwater that doesn't actually come from the lake somehow. It's kind of a weird setup.
Plot twist. The lake is inside of a bowl made entirely of salt. I solved it, y'all.
It's a salt lamp.
Exactly.
That's it.
What? No, no, no
So?
one agrees.
Oh, there was a comment about
Oh.
it being a salt lamp. I was just letting you
Okay.
guys continue.
Let's cut out there.
All right.
Alright, okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Not
Or-
really.
Want to
Alsana's
do anything?
gonna go ahead and give a ritual cast, commune with nature.
I was waiting for it.
Mm,
All right. Althana, you step outside of this somewhat small but relatively watertight hut that's been constructed to kind of get a breath of fresh, if very salty air. Away from the, well, really the crowd of people inside. It's dark out, the sun has set. There is no moon, it's the dark of the month. You've got the stars above you, winking between the scant clouds. You sit down outside, put your fingers into the dirt, and you start to breathe and just listen. Once you feel the connection, what 3 questions would you like to ask?
Let's start with the go-to, considering the things we've run into thus far, influence from other planes of existence.
All right. You've got 3 miles. Influence from other planes of existence. All right, let's see. Yeah. Let's see.
We're pretty close to
There's-
the kind of center part, yeah?
You're fairly close. It's a little bit more than 3 miles, but I'll say that it's faint and vague. But when you kind of cast your senses in that direction with that thought, they return with a sense of swaying, washing, a heavier salt smell, and a rocking sensation as if on a boat, or as if being tossed by water yourself, back and forth and up and down. And you get the sense of a body of water more expansive than what's bound here.
Elemental plane of water.
It seems so. Again, it's vague and distant and might only be an imprint of an influence, or it might be an influence that's just beyond your reach right now.
But still something. Alright, on that note then, she's gonna ask about powerful elementals.
Powerful elementals. Nothing within 3 miles. If it is the elemental plane of water, though, then there might be some somewhere, but you know the lake is... there's quite a bit more distance to it than just a 3-mile radius from where you sit on the shore.
Still worth a try though.
One more.
She wants. Can she ask information about? She heard about the bit with the rocks from the conversation Kate had, right?
You were all in the room.
Can she ask about terrain, like around in the lake?
Hmm.
Like not the water itself, but like any like, like yeah, I guess terrain, rocks, pits, sand banks, islands.
All right. With a 3-mile radius, you send your senses out, and they sink beneath the water, and um, almost like a sonar map. You're getting an impression of rises and falls, dips and ridges in the lake floor, and it is almost surprising how varied it is, how deep it goes, how you've got sudden peaks and rises and ridges and rills. The bottom of the lake is very featured. And as you reach the limits of your senses, closer to the center of the lake, you start to feel more rises. But you don't actually come across any outcroppings immediately. Well, you come across a few. You come across a few, but small ones.
Things that break the surface.
Yeah,
Alright.
there are things that break the surface, there are things that sit just under it. And then your senses basically run out of distance before getting to like the true center of the lake.
Alright, I think that's all the ones she can do, yeah?
Yep. And once you bring your senses back, you're able to stand up, shake off the little bit of moisture that's been collecting in a faint mist, just rolling in, then go back inside.
Real quick, what does she know about, like, water currents? And, like, the way, like, large bodies of water, like, act and interact with terrain?
Well, see, you have a wonderful resource who you're related to if you'd like to ask.
Yeah, no, she's not related to you. And,
Yeah.
She's related, just not perfectly.
no, no,
Well,
he doesn't
it's,
exist. We don't talk about him. He's dead.
It's not really your area of study, so it'd be a difficult DC, but I'd allow you to make a nature. This would be nature check.
Right. And since she knows it's kind of out of her wheelhouse, or
Mhm.
guidance on it. Normal, nature. 24.
All right. You know the basics at least, that water tends to, over time, eat away at rock. You know that it goes the path of least resistance, generally, most of the time. And so it flows through depressions that get deeper and deeper as it flows because of the flow. In a contained body like a lake, there's still usually some motion. Wind, weather, underground springs, even. But you don't really. There's probably not a huge body of literature on this to begin with, and you didn't really study into it. But either the currents are kind of wacky, or there's not really enough to like even it out. You just don't know which.
Okay. So either they're going to be like kind of mundane or out there. They're not going to be like predictable streams or anything like that.
At the very least, there doesn't seem to have been anything that's gonna make it featureless and even at the bottom of the lake.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I was gonna ask one other thing, but I can't remember it now.
Sorry?
I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask her looking at something else. I can't remember it now. Shit. Okay, whatever. She goes in.
Okay. You
At this
guys-
point, Kane and Alaris looking at imagine looking at each other from across the table like, how many fish do you think we could eat in one sitting? Like if they're all roughly this size, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I can get 3 down.
I don't know. Maybe a couple. 1 or 2.
Come on, you can pack it away. You're a dad, you gotta be able to show off to the kids.
Oh, those days are over.
2 and 3. I can do 7.
In that case, I can do 8.
Oh,
I
really?
don't think this is a competition.
I do believe so. Do you challenge me, sir?
My
I am
wife's a bigger
absurd.
eater than I am. She's impressive.
We're not denying that. Do you challenge me, young halfling?
Not today. I don't want to push myself until this is done.
Alright. Then as a reward for a job well done, we shall order as many fish as we can stuff in ourselves.
That's fair.
He puts out a handshake on it. Whoever loses pays for all the fish.
I'll do a shake on that.
Done. Hey, Asana.
Hello.
We were doing important shit in here. What were we doing?
Clearly, she just kind of glances over. I think I have a vague inkling of influence that we're going to be dealing with. Elemental plane of water.
So in the lake we're dealing with a bunch of water? That's revelation.
I'm glad your minds such as your own are here to tackle these great topics.
So there's something from a place of water that's in this water. That's.
Mhm.
Do you think there could be like a weird gate thing, like there was in the woods?
I'm almost very sure of it. It seems to be the main source of issues we're coming across.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Either that or some dregs of the dragon cult. Those seem to be the 2 things we've run into so far. First it was the Shadowfell and the Golthius tree. Then it was... what was next? Then we went to the Green River with Auntie. And we went with the Threshold. I guess you can throw a Threshold in there as well.
By the way, Asana, strange question for you.
She blinks at you.
Do you have and/or know where to get for a decent price a spyglass?
What do you need one of those for?
To look in the middle of the lake. Apparently no one's ever seen the middle and no one here can afford a spyglass.
Alaris, how far can you see?
Decently far. With the eagle eyes.
Oh, what'd you see across the lake?
Yeah, what do I see across the lake?
What exactly is the range on the Eagle Eyes?
I don't remember.
1 mile as if it was 100 feet, same as Ness's ability.
Okay.
And Alsana kind of drags him over there and casts guidance on him.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead and roll perception with guidance on
Can she
there.
give him advantage on the perception as well, or is that too
I
much?
already have advantage and a
Alright,
natural
good
20.
point.
Yep.
Roll your
roll a
d4.
D4.
I would love if natural 20s on ability checks means you got to double the guidance dice.
Ha!
No.
Doesn't matter,
28.
maxed out. 28.
Alsana's like behind Alaris and her fingers are holding his eyes open.
What do your elven eyes see?
Standing at the standing at the very end.
If possible,
of the
also
longest
Alsana
pier.
will bring him up on Alsana will bring him up on the berm a bit.
Okay. Floating above the end of the longest pier, and kind of squinting out into the darkness. You've got dark vision. You've got warlock dark vision. It's there is no moon, but there are stars. There is a little bit of natural light to help with that. You're really only able to see shapes and forms. Not really, no details, no color. But out across the water, you do see the occasional rock jutting from the waves and from the slow rising mist. and further into the center of the lake. At this point, you feel like you're straining your vision about as far as you can accurately shoot, maybe a little bit further,
Again,
equivalent-wise.
Alsana's fingernails are like in his eyelids, holding them open as she casts guidance.
Jesus, Alsana, he can work on himself. Also, he's wearing goggles. How are you even doing that?
They're in
Just
the
like
air.
a
You're
giant
not there.
wrestler.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
in
like-
the air and you've got 2 hands on the broom.
Yep.
Elaris is doing his thing.
She can sit on the broom without hands on it.
Yes, but would you want to? Is the real question.
It's fucking flavor, Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
Why?
Distance with the eagle eye goggles. Roughly equivalent to distance you see without the eagle eye goggles.
Oh, what?
I'm. Right, okay. You can see 1 mile as if it's 100 feet.
Yes.
Right. About the distance you're able to shoot.
Yes.
400 feet. Yes?
Yes.
You feel like with the eagle eye distance, eagle eye goggles, you're looking into a distance roughly equivalent to how far you can shoot.
Wow. Nice.
Okay? 4
Yeah.
miles.
4 miles.
Maybe a little bit more.
Nice.
Oh.
Maybe 5. Maybe not quite that. You're not quite sure. It's hard to scale. But you're seeing more and more rocks jutting out. And then a larger rocky form that looks like one end of a small island in the center of the lake.
And I relay all of this.
It's shrouded by mist already. It is barely visible. Really, the only reason you're seeing this at all is A, the goggles, B, dark vision, C, you rolled a 28.
Huh, I knew it.
However, that is all you get from it.
As his eyes like shoot blood red and he has to blink finally. It's like, you said you saw forms and figures?
No, he did not see forms and figures. He saw the shapes of islands. I was trying to
Okay.
describe things, but got interrupted.
Okay. Sorry about that. Alright. Brings Lars down and gives him some eye drops. I don't know. She probably has some alchemy something. Just okay. So we have a landmass target. We have. I have a wave or 2 of us to get there, but I doubt the other 2 are swimming.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, how far could have, like, Alzana obviously doesn't have the goggles on.
Mhm.
But could she see the distance she could expect herself to see with the mist?
Possibly. I'm going to say that the goggles are what allowed that. So you're not able to see the island. You could probably
No,
see
she's not
some
looking
of
for the island. She's just wondering if the mist that is rolling in is mundane.
Roll a nature check.
Okay. D4.
Mm-hmm.
Change
Getting all those big numbers out now, I see.
Yep.
23.
Won't be able to crit to save our lives coming up.
It's mundane.
Okay. Just gonna taste
It was kind of a cooler evening despite the rapid rush into summer that you guys are currently experiencing. And a little bit of the temperature clash in the water, and it seems to be a mundane mist.
Alright. She'll put it back down and again information on what we just saw. It's like, so do we intend on going out now?
I mean, is it late in the day?
It's night.
Okay. Probably not wise to do it at night. I'd rather have full vision.
Maybe tomorrow morning. Like, we could.
Oh,
to
that
bed.
reminds me. You guys' dark vision has an effective range of 120 feet, 60 feet.
I think think except for Alaris's.
Except for Lars because of the
Yeah.
eyes, probably.
Yep, Alaris could see the thing.
Yeah.
I think that actually the warlock thing also has an upper limit, but
At the very least, we could say we did it in the morning. For the sake of
yeah,
this.
yeah. If you want, we can just switch it to that.
Yep.
I did forget about the dark vision sight
Yeah.
limits.
Yep. All right. So we did this check again in the morning. After
So, yes,
last night going, damn, it's just too dark.
Yep, you have the day in front of you. You guys can leave now if you'd like.
All right.
The mistake.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and say that there's the little bit of morning mist, but it's shredding away already as the sun comes up.
Could I ask the same guy? Is the same guy that I asked last night about the fish still there?
Yeah. You see him kind of heading out. This is like crack of dawn that he's getting up. Would you be up at that time?
Probably, yeah.
Actually,
He gets up pretty early.
yeah. He's heading down one of the piers with a big, heavy bundle of nets thrown over one shoulder and a coil of rope under another arm, his other arm.
Okay. You're kind of like, hey there, I've got another strange question for you if you're not bothering you too much.
Talk and walk. Fish isn't gonna wait.
Sure thing. Sure. Might actually just, if you don't mind me joining you, at least watching. Maybe throw in a line myself, if it's alright. No expert.
Break anything and you buy it.
Works for me. Has anyone ever flown over, like, that you know of?
Flown.
Yeah, like, even if it's just, do you see birds when they fly over? Does it seem alright? Do they try to avoid it?
Well, he kind of gestures to some of the various gulls that are already circling in the air. Birds fly everywhere. I never really paid attention to whether they fly over that or not.
Alright.
Never really followed them either.
I imagine so. It's kind of hard to keep up with the pace, I imagine.
Hmm.
No, just curious. I have a friend of mine who is quite fond of traveling a la Raven, and just a thought because your lake, this lake of yours, quite interests me.
Yeah. Only saltwater lake in the land. Interests a lot of people who think they can come out with books and knowledge and figure it out.
I can promise you, I've got none of that, but I got a strong arm and I can paddle a boat if I need to.
Well, then you'll do fine here if you plan on staying.
Something I never considered, actually. I'm originally from the south. It's quite chilly up here for me.
Sets down his bundles at the end of the pier and starts loading them into a very small bobbing boat. You can tell you know boats. This isn't one meant for deeper water or for weathering anything significant. It's basically just a little shell with an oar at the bottom and enough space for some nets and for some fishing supplies and for some catch to be stored.
When you go to Dad's cabin in the summer, you get on the boat and you go fishing together and have a good hearty talk. This is the boat you're sitting on.
Probably.
He just kind of waves to him as he goes to set out. And he says, "Hope they bite well."
Always the hope. He waves back and pushes off. Around you, there are others from the village doing the same. Some stay on the docks, on the shore, and cast in nets into the relatively shallower waters. A few others get into their own craft and head out, still within easy eye-shot distance.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
He'll return back to the group, and if he can on the walk there, keep an eye out on the birds and see if any actually ever cross the lake or if they just fly kind of along the circumference.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Sure. No pun intended. Perception.
9. Hard to tell. You see the ones circling. You see the ones that seem to be circling very specifically over some of the boats and the shore. They look more like they're more interested in the immediate pickings of food than in traveling across the water, at least at the moment.
Okay, so return back to the group, whistling the whole way.
All right. What are the rest of you up to? What are you planning?
Not sure.
Alsana finishes prepping up all her spells that she's going to prep up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which I'm going to throw in the chat real quick for everyone to know, because she'd tell everyone. She give a quick rundown of what she's got for today.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cole's probably going to be like, okay, so if we're going across, who's going with who? Are we all going together, or are some of us going on the broom?
Should we take multiple trips? Is that possible?
Would it be safe to? We don't know what's in the middle there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the broom is definitely going to be safer than a boat would be. It's from the plane of water. I don't imagine it can fly particularly well.
But no one
Yeah.
can. Not everyone can get on the broom.
Correct. But if one person can go across, if they come back, we know it's at least possible to get across.
Kane, the whole reason I've come here and the whole reason I understood this to be an issue is because I very much did not want to go there on my own.
Well, you can go with Calda. I'm sure she's rather good at
No,
protecting.
we're all going at once.
Yeah, if we all don't go at once, if she has to come back, then that's leaving myself or one of the others, whoever goes first, in the middle of the lake alone.
I don't get vague
Oh,
intuitions. I like to go
I
off
mean-
information, but I know for a fact that there is something there that is going to need all of us there.
Alright. As for the record, I didn't mean to leave anyone behind. I mean, take one look with 2 people on there just to be safe. And then if you come back, we can all go. But,
There's a big
alright,
if there,
I'll see if I can
Kane.
procure a boat
One
somewhere.
I think you're underestimating.
Yeah, what if the 2 people who go don't come back?
When the 2 people who go don't come back.
Yeah, that's better.
Look, if you want, I can make and we can walk there.
You can do that?
Once again, check the commentary. She just gave a
I
rundown.
know this. Kane doesn't know this.
I literally said she gave a rundown of the spells she has and what they do.
Yeah.
We could.
I didn't see Water Walk. I was
Water
Water Walking.
Walk.
Sorry.
We could do a water walk.
This is Ty asking, how long does Water Rock last?
I believe it's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think.
Let me check that.
I have them up. Don't worry. I've got my own spells. Water Walk is 3rd level. Water Walk. It's at least 1 hour.
Okay.
And it's not concentration. Yeah, action ritual. Oh, I can ritual cast it too, and yeah, duration 1 hour.
Alright, we could probably... I think we could do it.
I'd cast it on all of us, but I'd still want to get on the broom. Maybe me and
Good
Alaris
question.
on the broom, such that he can see very far.
You could also cast that one you were talking about to breathe underwater, right? Is that like one you can do without wasting a lot of the spell energy
That
stuff?
one as well, yes, I could. It would take me about 10 to 11 minutes for either of them.
We could do both. Do the breathing one first, because I
But,
think you said it lasted longer.
Yes, because that one is all day. So you know what? She just starts doing the ritual for water breathing,
Yep, just in case.
and she just she sticks a small reed in everyone's mouth for the material to come in.
Just in case we can't get across in the hour.
Or something pulls us under. Always fun.
Indeed. Always good to be a little cautious.
Although the walking on water should, If Caldo, you suddenly find yourself about 100 feet under, you'd be up in about 12 seconds.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Alsana, I think
sorry.
Kane just choked on the reed.
Yep, swallowed my tongue there. Sorry.
You breathe the water, not the reed.
He's kind of just looks at it like, well, you could have just said that.
Other
It's
questions?
a little bit
Do you want to bring an extra friend along? Maybe one who might know things and can go and look around.
Possibly.
Why are you being vague about it? Is it a spell or is it a person?
Do I want to conjure a water elemental?
They could help.
Could help.
Just keep in mind that if I take a bad enough hit and I lose the spell, it's probably going against us.
Oh.
I could also bring some small little ice shits.
The ice ones
like
are
the
really
idea.
nice.
Oh, go ahead.
No, the ice ones were pretty interesting when you put them against Kane and I. That was fun. Maybe we could do the ice ones?
And if the ice ones go evil, at least we know we can smack them like, I don't know, like a table.
Yeah, we've had the ability to smack them before.
Real quick, Ariel, could Alsana do a nature check for if things she knows kind of are native to the water elemental plane?
Sure. Go ahead. Let's just see.
Because there's a few big ones that I know we're probably not going to run into, but I'm just curious if she's aware of.
Yeah. Let's see if you're gonna force me to pull out some sort of book and figure out what things are native and what aren't, so I have to give you a full list.
I'm sorry. Arcana, nature, history.
Either Arcana or nature. Let's say Arcana.
Same difference for me, anyways.
Okay.
Guidance, as she thinks. Probably not too great.
Okay.
Whoop, that's...
The first one.
Alright.
is,
I just
50.
gotta roll it again. But can I add a 29 to that? Come on.
50.
I like to imagine a stutter of magic.
Yeah, for a moment, the spell spazzes out, it seems, and you feel like you know everything, and then you realize you actually don't. But it was great while it lasted. You know elementals, obviously.
Did I bump into a fucking god? What was that?
Yeah. Obviously elementals, you're pretty sure that you've heard of things like merfolk, and legends of them either originating from the water plane or sometimes coming from it, living in it. It all varies and is a little nebulous and depends on the source you're looking at.
Considering the fact that it's a place made of nothing but water, there's probably gonna be people there who breathe water.
Yeah. You've probably heard of the Marids, the genies of the water plane. I'd
Fish
say that
faces.
they're going to be in, they're going to be in various legends.
Does she know about the thing of just storm giants going for a stroll on the bottom of the oceans?
You know what? I'm pretty sure that you rolled high on various giant types before, probably. So sure, storm giants. you
Again,
could
I
probably
doubt we're
put on
gonna
the
run
list.
into one, but I'm just curious if she knows.
Yeah, probably. All manner of relatively and otherwise mundane fish and other water creatures. You know of absolutely enormous sharks. You know that there are stories of water-dwelling beings like Sawagin. They might come from or be at least comfortable in the plane of elemental water, you would assume. And I'm gonna say it's big enough and well known enough. You know about krakens.
All right.
You know that
Kraken
they're
Leviathan.
exceedingly. You know that they are exceedingly rare.
And exceedingly dangerous.
Yep, and that's why it was a point of interest and you read about it.
Okay,
I'd
question:
say
what kind of
that, though.
What kind of kraken are you running? Is it a big squid? Is it a like face? What is it?
I'm gonna say that on a 15, it really depends on the illustrator for that
Okay.
particular book.
Okay, when we're done this, I'm
Um,
asking you that question again because I disagree.
they
I am like shook by that art in that monster manual.
They are rare enough that pretty much the only thing most illustrators have to go on is hearsay and verbal descriptions, and some of those get wacky. So,
Big, dangerous underwater tentacles, maybe.
yes.
All right.
And probably a
Tentacles,
shell
maybe.
of some kind.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, full medieval bestiary, people's imaginations went wild and they worked with what they knew.
Dragon. It's like a dragon. Wings, legs, breathe something.
Yep. Um,
Did you know about amphibious dragons?
uh,
I think we're getting off on a tangent
Nah.
here.
All right.
I think that's about all that Alsana can call to mind at the moment.
Okay. All right. Does she know that some dragons are amphibious, at least?
You can roll another nature check.
Fucking do it. It's 9.
Tokeni's ice. Ice is water. There's ice mephits that are tied to the water plane, maybe?
I'll have to take Tokuni to the beach at some point.
Yeah, you've never actually seen her swim. You're not sure.
It's just like hey, competition, who can hold their breath longer? It's like, oh, you're just cheating. All right.
I mean, water breathing, ritual casting, plus, you could make it work.
She could just drop a spell slot on it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone's got water breathing, everyone's got water walk.
Okay.
Cool.
1 hour of water walk, 24 hours of water breathing.
Cool.
She's down no spell slots. I'm sorry, Ariel.
No, it's fine. You guys were given time to prepare, and
to
you
go
know
to
what
the
you're
lake.
you know the terrain you're walking into. I
Let's
will
go
note
to the
that
beach.
I will note that the map you're going to be on, it could be interesting because I did draw something onto it, assuming you guys would get a boat. So ignore that.
Okay.
Did we take a boat just in case? Maybe drag one with us? In case we need to move anything?
I mean, I can procure one, pretty sure, if you need me to.
Yeah, sure. Just if we
Maybe to carry back whatever we bring.
Yeah, if we find a chest full of gold, I'd like to not have to carry it across the lake on foot.
Yeah, sure. Okay, no. This is sailor feature. I know I can arrange free passage for a ship. Can I assume that I can
Like borrow a
arrange some
rowboat?
kind of deal to borrow a boat?
You probably could. First of all, let's go ahead and you walk up. You ask if one of there are probably like a couple of unused boats. You can ask if you want to borrow if you can borrow one. And the person you ask kind of looks you up and down and says, "Why?"
Oh no,
Honestly,
this
I've
is
been borrow a
good
boat for a
point.
while.
Sorry, what?
Basically, I'm a fisher of some kind, and never been to this lake before, so I don't exactly have a boat for myself.
Very well.
Is there
If
a
you
requisite?
if you manage to sink it and still come back, then you're gonna owe us for the labor of building a new one.
Works for me. I'll do my best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay, know the general price of a boat like that?
Okay, no, the general
the
price of
labor
a boat
for
like
it.
that.
Like if Kane were to give them gold for that. I'm just looking at like party inventory.
I think we have enough gold.
Kane, if you want to eyeball that as Alsana's muttering over your shoulder.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Not like the at the shop cost, but like just the labor cost. So
okay.
probably helped make one before.
It would basically be an intelligence check for calculating that, but with a proficiency from your sailor background. So if you
in his general
have-
trenchant.
So if you have an intelligence check with proficiency, roll that. If you don't, just go ahead and roll and then add it manually.
I have a wisdom one that I can use.
Intelligence.
It's the same bonus.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah,
well.
my intelligence and wisdom are equal, but I have no intelligence skills.
Okay. Oh, go ahead and add the guidance. All right.
The hell? Why do I feel smarter? This is weird. He's never been guidance before.
No, she's bumped him a few times.
that he knows
Yeah,
of.
he's never been knowledgeably guidance, but Alsana has cast guidance on game before.
You know boats, and apparently you know boats better than you thought you did. This is probably not like the highest quality boat. It's definitely not the best you've ever seen. But it'll do the job. It doesn't look like it has leaks. It looks fairly well made. If you manage to wreck this thing and not return it and came back, you're probably looking at Is there a difference between a crew of people working on one and you working alone? I know all about this topic. Yeah.
Terrible.
If you had to just work on it alone, it would probably take you a couple weeks. If you had to work on it with others, then the labor would get divided and you could kind of put it together in fairly short order.
Okay. So, roughly, assuming that the standard D&D book thing, I think it's about 100 gold then in that case? 150?
Probably.
I know they have the prices rowboats in after the items section.
So Alsana just like taps on shoulder, just like, so how much are you getting us in debt with this?
Nothing we couldn't pay back with relative ease.
Number, please.
If I had to make a guess, call it 200 to be safe, gold pieces. But I've got that in my bag, so.
At least you're good at the one thing you define yourself by.
If I know one thing, and only one thing, it's probably boats.
Alright, well, shall we be off then? Looks at the rest of the group.
I think we shall.
Alright. Get ready to get your, water legs, but not in the way you think.
That's one way to say it, landlubber. Let's go.
It's literally walking on water. It's a different way of doing it.
As everybody
You say.
climbs into the boat, as Alsana and Kane argue, as they do.
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were...
Strange question.
Yeah, is it faster to walk or is it faster to...
Yeah. If we get Kane and Calda with a rope at the front of the boat at a decent pace, is that faster than paddling?
Interesting question.
Because my mind was just we had a rope on the boat and someone was dragging it.
All right. Let's see. The speed of a rowboat is 1.5 miles per hour normally.
Yeah, that's half
And
of walking speed.
However, you're looking out across this water. There is a wind coming up. The water is a bit choppy, especially more towards the center of the lake.
Let me
It
get
would
a...
essentially be difficult terrain. You'd also be pulling the boat behind you, so you'd be moving about the same speed pulling the boat as riding in it and rowing it, or rather blowing on the very small sails it
I mean, the
has.
boat's on water too. It's going to be like very negligible force.
I will say though,
Basically, I'm gonna say
I'm
it
more
evens
confident in
out
my ability
one
to
way or
survive
another.
on. Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say it evens out one way or another. You're looking at 6 to 1, half dozen of the other.
I'm honestly more confident in my ability to fight outside of a boat than inside of a boat. And at least we can scatter if we're not inside the boat.
Well, it's not like you're going to sink in the water if you're in the boat as opposed to if you're like walking beside it.
No, I realize that, but it'll be faster if we don't have to deal with hopping outside.
It's being more battle ready.
Alright. Maybe we should like get in the boat just for like a couple, like...
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
enough that everyone isn't like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah, for like
Or
the
something like
first
that.
little
I
bit.
was waiting for it.
Suddenly there's
Alsana's
3
fine for it.
reincarnations of Jesus.
Yeah, it's like Alsana's fine with floating across the lake and having a friend walk behind her on the water, but maybe the rest of the party wants to look not like a cult.
You're already known as the witch in one city. What's another city?
Storm Witch, motherfucker, and you will remember it.
So,
I'm me. No, I won't.
How are you guys setting out? What are you guys actually doing with this?
Alsana's on the broom and grabs the Lars.
Okay. Alsana and Alaris on the broom.
Yeah.
You do have the slightly slower speed, but you're keeping pace with the boat just fine.
Is the broom
No
slower than the
trouble.
boat? Okay, no, okay.
No, the broom is not slower than the boat. In fact, the broom is still slightly faster than the boat, but you're not zipping as quickly as you usually can on the broom. That's all.
Question, if Alsana were to like kick Alaris off from like 20 feet up and he hit the water, but he had water walk on,
He'd still take impact damage as he sank and then bobbed back up.
would it be like
Um,
halved?
No, because he might be able to make an acrobat. I'd allow him to make an acrobatics check to see if he's able to hit the water in a way that minimizes the damage and halves it. Yes, but if he
Okay.
fails that check, it's still the 2d6.
Okay, because water walk, it gives creatures the ability to move across liquid as if it were solid ground, but it does not
Yes.
force them to do so.
Yes, and if you fall and hit the surface of water, surface tension hurts.
I know, but within a certain like a
It has been ruled.
yeah, I know. I was just making sure it was for
You
that
guys
reason.
can take 2d6 damage just fine at this level. It's not gonna kill you.
All right, you'll say that when say that again when our corpses are bobbing in the lake.
I will.
I'm sure she'll say it gleefully at that point.
So, Ilaris and Alsana on the broom, 20 feet above the water, you said?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And Kane and Kalda are basically handling the boat. Kane, you very quickly figure out the layout of it. You've got all the controls. You are proficient with watercraft, I believe.
Mhm.
And so you were able to...
And I can use my navigator's tools to make sure that we're on course. Hell yeah!
Absolutely, you can. All right. So, with Ilaris and Alsana basically flying point at a higher elevation, and Kane and Kalda in the boat, navigating as they give directions and keeping the boat on course.
Alsana is steering the broom, but Alaris just sat in the front, such that he can see like forward.
Okay. You guys head out. It is open water. It is kind of an overcast day. It's not raining, and Alsana, you know that it's not actually going to rain today, unless there's like a little bit late
Yeah,
evening and
meant to
overnight.
ask. Yeah, Druidcraft. Yep.
So there's actually no like sparkle of sun off the water to blind you or confuse your senses either. Conditions pretty good, all things considered. And this is when you absolutely, Alaris especially, gets a look at the island just down the way of the lake.
Yeah.
You head out towards it. It's not going to require any rolls. This is
Real quick as we're
easy
going,
sailing.
did we want to
Yes.
do an elemental? Because
I say yes, but do the weak elementals.
all right. Can Alsana get Alaris to pout the broom for a bit? In 1 minute, cast conjure elementals, minor elementals.
Okay. You cast minor elementals. Are you bringing out the ice boys?
Yes, I am.
Little ice guys.
Little frosty pops.
Little pop.
How many of them do you get again? Is it 2 or 3 or 4?
Ice Muffets
they
are
are
1/2. Yeah.
One half.
So 4 elementals of rating 1/2 or lower.
Okay, 4 ice elementals. Got it. All right, and you pop the little ice elementals out. Ice pops. And they appear on this plane, look a little confused for a moment, and then sense you and the magic holding them, and kind of follow behind you in formation.
Frieza,
It's a,
cold,
it's a-
cooler, and frost.
it is a loose and chaotic formation, but it's sort of a formation nonetheless. All right. As you guys head out, it takes some time. About a couple of hours into it, you've reached
Oh, well,
about
they'd
the
be
point.
gone.
Yeah.
Could she have like more prepared for that if she could tell it was gonna be
If you'd like.
a long trek, or like?
Oh yeah, you know it's going to be a long trek.
Okay,
You figure out the pace of this.
Okay, then she might have held off on it, if
Okay.
possible.
Just let me know when you want to bring it in.
Alright.
Hour 1, you guys are about 3 to 4 miles away from the island. Probably 3.
Also, I'll just smack Alaris in the side of the head. Guidance. Take a look around.
Go ahead and make a perception check with guidance, Alaris, if you would so choose.
And advantage. And frickin'
Perception?
vision out to a mile.
Perception.
Yeah. Another natural 20.
Mm-hmm. Let's have that guidance.
Okay.
It's all like down to Kane. It's like, I've got my own spyglass right here, thank you. And she just kind of like has a hand on his head and just like cranes him left and right.
The craning left and right does seem to interfere a little bit with the guidance. It's not quite as good as you got this morning. But you get a good look around. You're able to kind of pick out some of the shadows of the rocks beneath the water further out. You guys aren't upon them yet, but once you do get closer, you're sure you're going to be able to basically navigate Kane and Calda and the boat around them without risking damaging the hull or anything like that. You get a slightly better look at the island. You can't tell if there's, at this distance, you can't really tell if there's like small vegetation. There are little casts and colors of green, but you're not sure if that's like algae and seaweed or moss or grass. You are able to tell at this distance that there are no trees or shrubs or large vegetation. It looks like a relatively barren rock in the middle of this lake. Other than that, at this point, you're not really seeing much else.
How far
Oh,
are we
deep.
from it again?
3 miles. You're about another couple hours of travel.
Okay.
You guys carry on?
I do have one question.
Yes.
Is there any reason that Kane shouldn't be fishing the entire way there? I asked this of the party.
Also, Alex is like, let's maybe not cause any more attention to things under the surface.
Yeah.
I can't move about.
True.
Uh,
Although I could troll and just leave it at the back, but on the way back, if we find out there's nothing too concerning, I'm gonna see if I can catch a fish, and maybe Calda. We can each just compete with one big fish.
Also, your line might get caught. There is some very varied
What's the nature of fishing?
topography of the bottom. No, like more
That's it.
than I've seen before.
Line's cheap.
Whatever. You're not supposed to leave that stuff in the lake, though.
Yes, and I do my best to retrieve it, especially if I can breathe underwater.
And then you go down there and you get eaten by something.
Oh, wouldn't you be so happy if that did happen?
Yes, we'll do it on the way back. Okay, so real quick, as they get within the 2-mile radius,
Okay.
gonna go ahead and have Alaris take the reins and give a ritual cast.
All right. You spend 11 minutes communing with nature. What questions would you like to ask?
Powerful elementals.
You get the sense of some water elementals in the vicinity. Not really anything else, though.
Does she get a better check on vicinity?
Let me see. Knowledge of 3 facts.
Yeah, location of powerful undead in the area. As the example at the bottom.
Okay. I'd say they're within, they're in the water, and you're at the 2-mile mark. They're within like a mile of you guys.
Okay.
Kind of between you and the island area. And there seems to be quite a few scattered around that area, almost forming a ring.
Well, Sana lets out that there seems to be a like a ring of water elementals between us and the island. We're probably gonna have to tangle with them.
Is a ring of water elemental something you think we can handle?
Depends on how many are actually aware of where we are and how many come to us. Does she get a number?
I don't have a precise number. They're scattered, and there's probably more beyond your 3-mile range.
All right. But how many are like within like how close are they to each other? I guess I should say.
Heck. Many lots. I do not have a set thing like one every 300 feet or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I cannot calculate this.
What's the furthest apart any of them could be that she sees?
Furthest apart, like that end of your radius and that end of your radius. This side of the island and that side of the island. That's
Okay.
the furthest apart.
But like, sorry,
The furthest apart are the furthest apart.
I think
I
he
should say,
means
what's the
part of
furthest
two
space
adjacent.
between two adjacent ones? Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Oh
But
man,
Alsana would.
Alsana is the bane to DMs. I swear to God.
I'm the bane to Ariel so far.
Mhm.
She's
Well,
yet to
she's
be
the
in a
only
different
thing
game.
besides Alsana.
Let's say they're constantly shifting and moving very, very quickly.
To be fair, they have like 120-foot swim speed, so fair enough.
Also, like opens
Yeah.
one eye while she's casting. It's like it seems commune with nature is fighting me.
They're zooming
It seems
around
very
in random
dissatisfied with me.
patterns.
I'm going to throw a rock at the back of Alsana's head and hope she loses her train of thought. It's like, well, hopefully we can handle them. If not, do we have a fast way to get out of there if we need to?
I'll say that the furthest distance between two of them, like consistently, tends to be the distances where there's a lot more rocks just under the surface.
Okay.
So yeah, you could try, but oh boy.
Once we get to the rocks, is probably when they'll be showing up, if they are going to. If not, I'm almost more worried. Second question.
And sorry, roughly how far away is that from the rocks we are?
About a mile.
Okay.
Roughly.
We're going about a mile an hour, right?
Some are closer, some are further. You get there in a little bit less than an hour.
Right, second question. Influence of other planes. Can she
Very
get a better,
distinctly, very, very distinctly plane of elemental water.
Can she get a better
big
zero
influence.
in on where it's coming from?
Big portal beneath the largest island.
All right then. And it's just the one?
Feels like it.
Okay.
But the influence of this just the one is immense. It almost spreads through the entire lake. Your entire field of knowledge is suffused with this influence.
Gotcha.
That just happens to be the brightest spot on this multicolor radar map.
And
Meanwhile, I just
prevalent animals,
What?
let's say, or
Fish.
sorry, can I change that? Is fish too much information to go back on?
What would you change it to?
She wants to look for terrains. She wants to know how that island like connects to the rest of the lake.
Okay.
Is it like free floating? Is there like a pillar or what?
It's more like a pillar. There's a rocky bed, but it is like riddled on the underside with catacombs, and they kind of continue up through it. You're looking at a rock that is simultaneously a rock and a honeycomb, just about. Okay, maybe that's overstating it, but there's
Swiss cheese.
Yeah, Swiss cheese is a good way of putting it.
Okay. So okay. It seems that island has a cavernous beneath. Is the space underneath full of water or not?
Space underneath.
The like holes in the Swiss cheese.
Oh, when they're under the surface of the lake, yeah, they're full of water.
Okay.
There seems to be nothing about them that feels dry. In
Okay.
fact, the whole thing kind of feels really damp and like moist with spray and just, yeah, water everywhere.
All right. All right.
Water, water everywhere.
You-
Oh wait, no, that's how the actual line goes. Never mind.
You guys are gonna be soggy.
It's Kane's favorite thing to be. I guess. Question.
Yes.
Can Calda's lantern work underwater, or no? It still burns like normal fire.
I'm pretty sure it still burns like normal fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll look at. There's nothing about it not burning like it. Oh, I think I just hit. No, my mic's not. Never mind. Sorry.
You got the right one.
Yeah, it burns. It uses a pint of oil.
Probably needs air, even if it
yeah.
was like sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. There still has to be. It can't be airtight, or else there wouldn't really be a flame.
Fair point.
Okay, so sorry, I did the portal, I did the train, I did the elemental, so I'm done with commune with nature. All right.
Yes.
When they seem to be about 11 minutes out from the rocks, Alzana's going to start prepping up that minor elementals.
All right. 11 minutes out from a rock. The rocks is a more nebulous thing than you think. It's not just like a line of rocks, like a boundary fence.
Okay.
There's like a rock here. There's a rock there. There's a few more rocks over there.
Okay, when they're within 30 minutes of where she generally sees the elementals are.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
Because those guys are around for an hour, so I don't need to be precise, just
Yeah.
enough that the combat we're inevitably going to get in when you put us on the map, they can be there.
You guys can try. You guys can try to avoid the combat. That's fine. Just let me know how you plan
No,
to do that.
I want to fight them. I just want to make sure my little icicles are there.
Okay.
I am gonna say I'm gonna have Kane when we start basically when we pass the first rock. He's gonna change the way he paddles from dipping in and out to he's going to basically bring one paddle to the back and keep the head underwater and paddle back and forth. It's a way of doing it quieter if you don't want to make things aware of where you are.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're stealth paddling. I'm going to say it as you guys enter the vicinity of the rocks. You have advantage on this due to Alaris's keen eyes. And you're going to be using proficiency because of Sailor. But go ahead and I believe you're already proficient with survival?
Yep.
Yeah, go
I
ahead
can use
and
the
roll.
navigator's tools if you'd rather.
Whichever one works better. I am thinking survival for wisdom,
Sure.
for doing the thing. So go ahead, advantaged wisdom to successfully guide the boat. 21. All right. You see the shadow of one rock just beneath the surface. You kind of move the boat around it. Ilaris calls and points out another one, and you navigate around that. And slowly, bit by bit, you weave your way between the rocks, over and under the water.
Yeah, you'll actually get Calda if she isn't doing much right now because he's got the paddle. To basically get a small stick with not a small stick, like a longer stick, maybe his 10-foot pole. And just hold it very gently out the front of the boat, going straight down. That way, if there's a rock that's rising up beneath it, you'll see the stick dip really quickly. So we'll be able to put a stop if we need to, and she can use it to push back if she has to.
All right. Let's go ahead and have Calda do let's call it a perception check. Just
Okay.
noticing like the dips and shakes of the stick.
Okay, luck roll. Let's go. 18.
18. All right. As you guys enter what seems to be a clearer stretch of water, the stick in your hands suddenly gives a somewhat sharp jerk downwards and back.
Concerning.
Go ahead and everybody roll perception real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
13, 15. Where's
Alaris,
Eagle Eyes?
get on there. There we
24,
go.
bloody hell! Nothing but 20s on those.
3 in a row.
Wow.
3 in a row, no biggie.
If it wasn't a 20, it would have been an 18. 22.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Fuck.
Elaris, you very distinctly see a large shadow moving beneath the boat. It seems to have caught the stick seems to have caught on it, but it's already beneath the boat, and the boat doesn't seem to be jamming on it. So it seems that the stick caught something rather than the boat. But Elaris, with that 24, as you watch, the shadow passing beneath the boat suddenly moves and disappears deeper out of your sight. And then you see it rise up again.
Can we get an incoming?
Incoming.
And
Powerful.
We got the incoming.
I just imagine
You
like
hear Alaris
hung
from above.
over this morning. It's just like,
incoming.
like what? Incoming what? Incoming what?
Incoming!
As Kane and called it, you feel something slam into the bottom of the boat, and it rocks, but it doesn't capsize.
Okay.
You feel a second slam, and the boat tips.
All right.
We're going to move you onto the map. We're going to roll initiative as Calda and Kane bob to the surface, but as you're bobbing upwards, you see a couple of fish-like but almost humanoid faces, long tails, and what seem to be harpoons.
Merman.
Go ahead and place yourselves on the map. Kane and Calda by the boat.
Oh, yes, yes.
Alaris and Alsana right next to each other, somewhere else. And Alsana, you could reorganize your ice methods as you would want them. But
I really like
keep
the
in
way you
mind they
did
were
the
close.
water here.
Alaris, please be next to Alsana.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't know where Alsana
Okay.
was.
Probably
Yeah,
would have
fair
been like back, like trailing behind him a bit. And Lars would be right below Alsana.
Okay.
Right here.
Riley, did you draw this?
Yes.
Is this
I
the one
really
you're
like
happy
the way you
with?
did the water right here.
Yeah.
Thank
the
you.
water is really nice.
Can you give me access to the sheet just so I can move them?
Are you not? Dang it. Did I not have access for you?
I think last time, because they were fighting us, he didn't have access.
All right. They are under a different thing. Let me go ahead and give you access and move them under player characters. Oops, wrong button. I always do that instead of hitting edit. 1 second while I scoot that down into player characters stuff. There we go.
Does Alsana know the languages that the methods know?
No.
Not in like does she speak it, but is she aware of what they probably know?
Oh. Maybe. You know that primordial
Yeah.
languages are primordial languages.
Okay, she's aware of the Aquanoran, Ignan, Terran.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, she's just basically gonna be she's gonna command one of the methods at the start of combat to yell in Aquan, "Come get some."
You're gonna wait until your turn to do so.
I know I'm trying to flavor.
Roll initiative.
All right.
You can flavor it on your turn.
Yeah.
Hey, Calda.
Where's Kane?
Oh no.
There's Kane.
Gosh. That's
Oh, damn.
grim.
You want I roll for the methods then, or
Yeah, go ahead and roll for the methods.
Alright. Are they all in one turn for simplicity?
Yes, they're all in one turn for simplicity. Because I believe on that spell they move on their own turn, yes.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Yep, roll initiative for the summoned creatures as a group, which has its own turns. They obey any verbal commands you issue, no action required by you. All right. So let's go ahead and send this. Alrighty then. Elaris Alstana still 20 feet up. I'm going to say the Mephits are about on level with you guys for ease of things, so they're also 20 feet above the surface of the water. Kane, you've just bobbed to the surface, so has Calda. But you're kind of in the water, and you have to get up onto the water. So you can do that.
Same rules as standing on
But-
its own, basically.
Yep, but before you do so, something interesting sort of happens. The water around you seems to swell suddenly. And, Kane? I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. Oh, I finally get to make one of these. I have a good bonus.
All right. As suddenly the water seems to almost take a shape up around you, trying to throw you about and squeeze you and hold on to you, but you push yourself from its grasp. And then you see the swell of water kind of sink downwards again, but you're able to make out the shimmering shape of a water elemental.
Okay. If I were to attack it, would it be as normal?
It would be as normal. If once you get up. So yes, it is your turn. Go ahead.
Okay. Alright, so half movement to get up. Stand on the surface. Does anyone want to move from their current position, or do they go? Is everyone all good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay.
You
So
can
take
potentially
is
move
good.
the Mephits, though.
That's true. Yeah, okay. If I have a place for that, I will do so in that case. Kane is going to step out. He's got the... his hand would have been full of the ore, so he wouldn't have had the shield out, so he's going to two-hand the longsword.
Okay.
And he's going to step first to the water elemental, because that's what's rocking the boat, and I'm not losing that safety deposit. And I'm going to make a booming blade attack on it.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, 21 hits.
Perfect. One initial damage, unfortunately. But with that, he is going to use a distracting strike with that.
Oh.
Sorry, that should be -4 to that damage.
Okay, so 8 damage. There we go. And they are distracted, so let's see. Next attack roll by attacker other than you has advantage if it's made before the start of your next turn. Okay.
And he's going to say to everyone, basically, I've got it focused on me. Take a swing if you got it.
This boy?
Maybe Olaris take a shot? And that'll be all. Actually, he'll step a bit around to here. That'll
Okay.
be all.
All right.
We have
It
a blue
is
marker
now.
on the guys who have the frost breath.
Sounds good. It is now this Marrow's turn. Kane, as you are dancing about on the top of the water, you see one surface. You see it rear back with its harpoon in hand and throw it at you. 22 to hit,
Yeah, that'll hit.
11 piercing damage, and we're going to have a strength contest. So roll me a strength check. Not a save, just a check. All right, you managed to hold your ground and are not pulled towards the Marrow. You see it kind of show sharpened teeth for an instant in frustration. It dives down into the water and then comes up practically beneath you to bite.
Ooh.
Seizes hold of your leg and tears bloody chunks out of it. Because
Lovely.
that's going to hit. So 7 plus
Yeah.
8 damage?
It's probably really not used
15.
to creatures having traction when it fights.
Yeah, very much so. All right,
Okay. That's fun.
and that is the
Love that
end.
for me.
That is the end of the Marrow's turn. Calda,
Yeah.
the water surges around you. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Okay, this is also a +4 to this because of my charisma. 24.
Okay.
I should have stepped closer, so I'm close to Calda.
You also succeed, as surging up from the water is a second elemental. Neither of them were managed to use their whelm attacks. Methods. What would you like them to do, Alsana?
Overwhelmed.
All right, let's have some fun.
This is what happens when the strength fighters are within reach of the elementals.
This guy's gonna. Well, this is also why I was kind of wanting them to be on the boat, because it's like, if someone's gonna get pulled down, these two are gonna be the best to not be pulled down.
Oh yeah, they can
Can
breathe underwater anyway.
can this Mephit actually, maybe if he moved there, could he have angled his breath enough to get both the marrow and the elemental?
It's got a 15-foot cone.
Yep.
Not without getting Kane as well.
Not if he did this.
Is it a line or a cone?
It is a cone, but I imagine. But can he angle the cone, or
Can he kind of do like this way?
that's what I'm saying? Like, is that like no 45 degree, or sorry, 90 degree?
20-foot cone. That's not quite a 90 degree. I think that would be more of a 90 degree.
If you're
Hold on.
drawing something, we can't see it.
Oh right, I'm on a
GM layer.
GM thing. Forgot about that. 15-foot cone? Okay. You're still... the marrow doesn't fill that space is the thing. It's
Yeah.
my only problem.
All right.
You might be able to do it if you reposition it slightly.
Can I just ask potentially? Yeah, could Alsana step to here and then breathe out like this?
Yeah, the ice method could probably do it from about here.
Yeah, he could have.
I'm going to allow it from about here, because then you're actually getting into their spaces, not just cutting barely across the corner of one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So, we'll go ahead and retcon to that.
They
Go
know how to do their breath better than me.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy at the south of the marrow and the elemental.
Though of note, it would also depend on whether Alsana specified to spare Kane or not. Nah, it's friendly.
I would
It's
hope she
friendly.
does.
She would have given the command when she made them, like, these are friends, not freezer burns.
Okay. So, DC 10 dexterity saving throw. The elemental is fine. The marrow is fine.
Half as much.
They take half
Does it have a weird
damage.
effect when it gets frozen?
And the
3.
and the elemental takes 3 cold damage.
3 cold damage, yep. And, yeah. You see the ice kind of spread across the elemental's form. It seems to be moving just a little bit slower.
Sweet. Popsicles making new popsicles.
All right, that's that one method. How about the others?
One to the north, on the water elemental as well.
Okay. I'm not gonna have the freeze effect stack. It just
Yeah,
seems
that's
a little
fine.
bit weird.
Yeah, no, that's fine, but he's
Okay.
doing the thing.
But 1 cold damage to the elemental.
Guys to the south, the one right beside this elemental, will give a breath.
Okay. Do you want me to just roll 2 more dex saves for the water elemental? On the other
I'm not
side.
sure if I'm.
Okay.
Are they
There's
able to do the summoning thing, or is that no?
No.
Okay, didn't think so.
You summoned them, they're not summoning more. Summoning is for DMs.
Come on, exponential. No, it's fine.
This one explodes into a shower of sparks and dies instantly.
Okay. He tries really, really hard, and he just goes.
Yep, snowflakes. He summoned more ice. There you go. It
Alright.
just happens to be falling and melting. No. So okay.
And yeah, sure.
there's
One more.
2
dex save.
cold damage on this one, and it is also a little bit frozen. And okay, 1 more dex save. Neither of them really took very much damage, but you do see the frost slowing their movement somewhat.
I'll take it for now because I don't want to use that melee on them, and they can always recharge. All right.
Okay.
His breath's done. That is. This guy will get up over here.
Okay. Right. This is going to be interesting. Because they're not dumb. Yeah, they're not dumb.
They're not stupid.
They're not completely dumb, at
Maybe.
least. They're not smart, but
Smart.
they're
I know what skeet shooting is.
yep.
Stop.
And yeah, Alsana, this one swims up, breaches from the water, and at the arc of his leap, he throws a harpoon. You are within 20 feet, so that is regular range, because you're 20 feet up.
Alright.
12 does not hit, I'm pretty sure.
Nope. Just barely, but nope.
All right. You see him
Nice.
splash down into the water, reel his harpoon back in, kind of hiss. He wheels around, and for lack of a better target, uses his second multi-attack, coming up under Calda with a bite. 19 to hit.
That hits.
All right. Calda?
Yes.
This one then dives for... Actually, no. He can't do that. He used all his movement. Take it back. Take the bite back. Put the 7
It's
piercing
okay.
damage back.
Okay.
I forgot. He used all his
Take the
movement to
bite
get
back.
there. I was conflating movement speeds. Yep, he splashes down into the water. That's the end of his movement. He cannot use his multi-attack. So that's it for him. Elaris, what would you like to do?
Hey, there's one that has advantage. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
with
wait.
Extracting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a relatively low AC, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, that's pretty good.
What did Kane hit?
And
The elemental.
This one.
No, I'm
With
saying,
the-
what number did he hit with?
I haven't hit the attack.
Oh, like a 23. I'm just pretty sure the water mounts 3 to hit.
11 does not hit.
Okay.
The second shot is not at advantage. Why
Oh,
are there
crap.
3?
Oh, that
Still
was
a
an
12.
act-
No, the second shot was a 21, and is still a 21.
Yeah, I accidentally hit
then
the
it's-
button
Yeah.
the third time.
Yeah, the 12 was an accidental. The 21 hits for 22 piercing damage, though.
Yay!
All right. As the first shot kind of pings accidentally off of the encrusting ice from the Ice Mephit's breath attack, and doesn't seem to damage the water elemental itself. But the second shot sinks right through the form, and you don't know how it's hurting water, but it's hurting water.
Hey, that's pretty good. This is a
All
pretty
right.
good perch.
You are still on the broom, so you don't quite have control of your movement. That's up to Alsana. Is there anything else you can or want to do?
Yep. Let's see if there's a... Is there a bonus action thing that I could do? Yeah, actually.
Are you gonna purpose smite at the end of the turn?
No. No.
Is that salt I taste, or is that just the lake?
No, that's me being ironic. I'm not actually. I wasn't actually.
Oh, I
gonna
meant
grant this
Evan.
one.
No, don't worry.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna.
Pots and kettles, dude.
Hexblade. Yeah. I'll Hexblade curse. This water elemental right here.
Okay, the one that you just attacked. All right.
Yes.
We've got a curse on him. Little skull and crossbones.
Yes, boys.
I spit at you. But do you bite your
Okay,
thumb at that
what?
water elemental, sir?
I bite my thumb at that water elemental.
Okay,
Then he be cursed.
Alsana, it's your turn. You've got control of movement of yourself and Alaris.
Yeah,
I
let's
believe-
bring us up to 40 feet.
Okay. So 20 feet higher.
Yep.
Sure.
Cause that spear just barely like skimmed the bottom of her shoe. Actually, hold on. What was the range on that fucker?
You
2060.
don't know. You don't know.
But you clicked it.
Yeah, but you don't know, Mr. Meta Knowledge. Yourself.
You've done that range thing before. We've done that plenty of
Yeah.
times.
So you're 20 feet up, or are you doing more? Keep in mind that right now, with 2 people on the broom, I'm pretty sure your speed is only 30 feet on it.
Yeah. So we'd only get to 50, but he'd at least be at disadvantage. So yeah, she'll go up to 40 feet.
Okay. You are 40 feet above the water instead of 20.
Nice.
If she can, she's gonna... Wait, no, Alaris is in the front. Okay, we're fine. Help me, meat shield. No. She's gonna go ahead and cast Frostbite on the one by Kane.
Okay. That is a Constitution save.
With garbage damage.
Fire.
Oh, but it fails and it takes all 4 cold damage.
And, more importantly,
Has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Yes, it does.
Which is much appreciated.
you're welcome. And she's going to tell the methods to just like focus on the water elementals.
Okay.
Don't think I have. Is anyone hurt right now? Like slightly.
Not really, no.
Kane took like 20 something damage.
Here can have a healing word.
I'll take it.
The healing word is bitch.
Understandable.
Healing word is bitch.
All right. Kane, you heal up slightly through the power of sisterly love.
The power of spite.
Kalda, what would you like to do?
Okay. Let's make this fun. Okay, sorry. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, the jukebox is a little bit too high in my ears, and I'm like, I'm dying.
Yeah, we can hear
okay.
it too.
You can
Oh,
you can
no!
turn it down. You can
That's
turn
what
it
I was
down.
doing. That's what I was doing. I'm gonna turn
Okay.
it down. No, we're shutting this. Yeah, there we go. Done. Okay.
It's all good.
I moved there. I'm gonna. Let's hit the harpoon bitch instead of the elemental. Do I have disadvantage on this? Or am I engaged? I can do with both of them? I have no clue.
No, you don't have any advantage.
Oh, wait.
You can...
Bonus action. Go to Divine Favor, so just we have another d4.
Okay.
And then first one on the harpoon,
Make sushi.
buddy.
Make sushi.
Ta-da.
It hits.
Plus another
15
D4.
slashing, 2 thunder, plus your d4 of radiant. All right.
Yep, let's do second attack on them too, because they have the big range to hurt or
You've got,
squish.
you've got Radiant and Thunder. It's like, yeah, hit up enemy, just get lights. He gets lightly flashbanged.
It's called a maelstrom. 20.
Oh boy. On the d4. Okay.
He's got a
okay.
stun sword.
13, 16 more damage. My goodness. Wow.
No, it's a slash bang.
Okay,
Okay, admittedly, slash bang is pretty good.
Calta's going to just stay where she is so she's engaged with both of them at the same time.
All right, as you start carving through this marrow and standing ready on the surface of the water, it's starting to look real hurt. It is now this water elemental's turn. Let's see if he recharges a thing. Yep, a thing is recharged. However, it's also learned that Kane is very strong. And so it's going to go ahead and disadvantage slam attack on you, Kane.
All right.
Thanks to Alsana's. 10 does not hit. The second slam
Much
attack,
obliged.
I believe, is at normal, though,
Yes.
because it's only the first weapon attack. That's a nat 1.
Ooh. Okay.
So the water elemental.
Fantastic damage it was rolling too.
Yep. Water elemental flails out twice, but does not hit. And kind of in frustration, you see it just suddenly sink down into the water. You do get 1 attack of opportunity, Kane.
Stay frosted.
It also takes booming blade damage in that case.
Wasn't that... Oh, yes, your turn is next.
Mm.
Aha. I forgot about it. It
So it's
forgot about
14
it.
thunder damage.
14 thunder damage as it sinks downward and you hear a muffled boom. And you see it shake indistinctly.
Method would get one
Um,
too, yes.
And
If the method is in melee,
Yeah,
you had
that
it
I,
sneak
I,
down?
I told him I
Okay.
said that one went in range. Yep.
Okay, so go ahead. 1 attack for the
7.
method. Kane's attack does hit for another 13 damage. All right. Felt pretty solid. Hard to tell, though, how the water elemental's doing, as it has sunk down out of view currently.
Method just like flails its arms in the general direction, like.
All right. Kane, it is your turn.
okay. Like kind of looks at me and says, looks the I can't remember what the name was, and Kane doesn't know it anyway. So he's gonna say, "You gonna run away too?" And he's gonna start swinging at this one. Is, if I can find it, Sword of Thorns, and that one's going to be a Frighten. Then a second Sword of Thorns.
Okay, so yeah, 25 hits, DC 16 wisdom saving throw to see if he's afraid of you.
Someday
Yeah,
I'll
this
crit
is gonna
with a
go,
boy.
yep. He's very afraid. He is so afraid right now.
Keep.
Fantastic.
So 11 and 3, 14 and 9. My brain, 23.
Yes.
Okay. Pretty solid damage. He's frightened for this round, so his attack's gonna have disadvantage. And it's his turn. He's not gonna move away from you. He can't move any further towards you, but doesn't need to. Out of sheer terror, he's going to go ahead and take those 2 disadvantaged attacks. 1 bite, misses,
Ooh.
and 1 claws,
Eey.
that misses.
Yep.
Ah, frightened.
Glancing them both off the blade.
All right. He's gonna stay put. He's scared, but he knows nothing else.
Somehow, that's a wise choice.
This one gets 2 slam attacks. On Calda, I believe there's no advantages or disadvantages, correct?
Just normal.
Yeah. All right. 24 to hit, 11
Yeah.
bludgeoning. 25 to hit, 10 bludgeoning. Keep in mind that I believe your armor reduces your feet reduces bludgeoning.
Yes.
They're not considered magical?
They are not.
Okay.
It's
okay.
not magic. Yeah, it's like yeah, it's weird.
These are very physical attacks. It might be a magical being, but they're very physical attacks.
Yeah, that's always just like a weird territory.
I think I did the math correct. And Uno, fine. Nope.
All right.
+4?
Oh, yep, plus 4.
Ta-da! I forgot about my own thing. Thank you, Connor.
That's okay. That's why I just made mine automatic on my sheet.
All right, this one is not going to move or go anywhere, so it's the Ice Mephit's turn now.
Boy. Well, let's have 46.
Mm-hmm.
Left to right. Hey.
Ah, I see some recharges happen.
Okay.
How many of them use it?
I'm gonna say this guy over here. Sorry, this guy over here will use it.
Okay.
I'll do it in this
Dexterity.
direction.
Yep, dexterity saving throw. Water elemental. All right, half damage. Rounded up for you guys, so 4.
Now, this guy, could he, like, go down to the surface of the water and, like, blast in the general area? Like, downwards?
In the general area that the water elemental
Yes.
went.
Like, could he have, like a 10 by 10 or something? Or a 5 by 5?
I mean, he could. Have him do a quick perception check.
Okay, I don't think they're great at that. Yeah, just a wisdom on him. 12.
All right.
Flip a coin if he's
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, you're not sure. He's not sure. He could try, but you're not. Basically, you can't be certain that that thing is within 15 feet, even if it goes down the full 15 feet. Water resistance. You could try it. Maybe.
In that case, I'll have him. He'll try to. If it's over, because their intelligence is 9, they're not stupid. Could he go and maybe give it like a predictive, like downwards breath this way?
Sure. Okay. The triangle is noted. Go ahead and roll the frost breath damage.
Okay.
Okay. The ice clouds the water, but doesn't seem to actually gather on anything in particular.
I like just snap.
Except the boat.
Yep. Just snaps fingers. Shit. Leighton, Lauren or Ignan. The other two are going to. This guy's gonna take a swing. He's gonna try to harrow this guy.
Sure.
With a claw attack. 16 to hit.
16 hits. 4 slashing, 4 cold, 8 damage.
Let me get
He's
you.
looking
Let me
hurt.
get you.
Mhm.
Frost breath anymore. This guy. And this guy's going to. Yeah, sure, same thing.
Okay.
Claw. Let me get you. Let me get you.
21 hits, 7 damage overall. Okay.
All I can imagine is like the flying monkeys from like the No Place Like Home movie. Just like
The
The,
Wizard
the
of
what now?
Oz.
The fucking what now?
look, it's a name. I don't know names.
What the fuck?
Hey, here's the thing, you all knew what I meant. Fuck all of you.
Man, it's like that Quidditch game from the Euro Wizard Harry movie.
I'm so happy
Yeah.
we're recording this.
Here's the thing, you all understood what I mean, so fuck you. This is the Boku no Hero Academia argument all over again.
Thank you, Ariel.
Hey, fuck you, Ariel.
Okay. Is that all the ice methods are going to do this turn?
Kick ass, yeah, that'll be their turn.
Okay. This Marrow is going to make another desperate attempt to as I
Even with
Lose.
method.
the sheet. Where did I close it? No, I didn't. There it is. It's just under the other one. Even with the Mephit, it's very upset about this fact that you guys are flying way out of reach. It's gonna jump up, disadvantaged, harpoon attack, Alsana.
Also on Icon? Okay.
Yeah, it's Alsana.
Not
Uh-huh.
really.
It does not hit. It splashes back down, wheels around, and
Also rolls
frustrates-
the broom to the side, leans out, and kind of like puts the finger under the eye and sticks the tongue out.
Mephit takes a 15 to hit,
15 will hit.
11 piercing damage.
Wait,
Yeah,
who's
he'll.
he? Question.
Yes,
Who's the Mephit who's the Marrow going for?
the Mephit.
Oh, the Mephit, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mephit.
I'm sorry, and that's this Marrow?
Yes,
Alright.
that was his second attack with his bite. So, 11 piercing damage on the Mephit. How's it doing?
First blood on the Mephits.
Okay.
It's about halfway.
All right.
Alsana yells up, Kalda, maybe not stand directly beside those guys.
Why? Oh.
Death first.
Alaris,
Yes.
what would you like to do?
Kick his ass, Seabass.
This one
Yeah.
is hurting. Yes.
Very much hurting.
Okay. Cool.
Also, he's throwing a harpoon at me.
Oh, yeah.
Badly.
Yeah. I'll try
I
and
almost-
remedy that. Oh, fuck,
An
that
8
didn't
does
work.
not hit.
He's like a regular man. There
Oh,
we
It
go.
does.
There we
How
go.
do you want to do that one?
Hey, yeah, I want him to try and breach I want him to try and breach again and then just shoot him in the head. Just shoot him right in
Okay.
the throat as he tries to breach.
All right. Basically, you hold the turn, you hold the shot until the effectively the Marrow's next turn breaching for the sake
Yeah.
of flavor and straight through the head.
You stick to the fish.
Yeah.
All right.
He's all washed
Alsana,
up.
You're all washed up.
What would you like
That's
to
a
do,
lot of
Alsana?
fish.
You know, you can wave goodbye to your time on this plane. All right. She's going to give a. Don't know where that other one went. Yeah, she's gonna give a frostbite on the elemental beside Calda.
Okay. So Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
Fail. And another 4 damage and disadvantage on 1 weapon attack at the beginning of next turn. Okay. Anything else on your turn?
And slower speed, but whatever. How's Calda feeling?
I've taken some damage.
All right, I've got first level spells I never use. Here you go. Another 9.
Nice.
She rolled max with both of them. She's full on medic.
All right, Calda.
I'm running the washroom real quick.
Okay, feeling newly rejuvenated. What would you like to do?
We're gonna slide to Calda's left, technically the right, because Method Explodey. Let's take 2 hits at this elemental. Numero uno.
Hit.
Okay, I'm so sorry. My fucking Discord. +4 radiant.
Yep.
Next up. Ugh.
13 does not hit, unfortunately.
That is A-okay.
Okay. Anything else?
And I think that's gonna be it.
All right. This water elemental is going to resurface beside you, Kane, but kind of on the other side.
Okay.
And it's going to take 2 slam attacks against you. 26 hits. 13 bludgeoning.
Yeah.
24 to
That's gonna
hit.
be halved.
12.
Alright, both rounded down, right?
Are you having from, what was it? Is it
I have
the...
resistance to bludgeoning.
Okay. Permanent?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
So
I
12?
forget my own things.
Right. There's a lot of things to remember. This is 4 characters, man.
Yeah.
Look, I forget what class y'all are insanity sometimes. Like, it's not a problem.
Yeah, we know.
All right, with that,
Hey.
I forgot what class Caius is.
with that,
What do you
the
mean?
elemental is gonna once again sink out of reach and vision. You can take an attack of opportunity on it if you so wish.
Gladly. Does 14 hit?
14, you do connect.
Okay.
14
We're into the armor
slashing
class now.
damage. All right, it is gone out of view, Kane. You've got another target.
Yeah, you know, we got the stabby sneaky class. We got the shooty sneaky class. We got the I'm intelligent, I throw magic class. You know, things like that.
All right,
Okay.
stabby, do your thing.
Yes.
I'm stabby with a meathead. It's going to be a Sword of Thorns once more because, fuck this thing.
Okay.
Gonna make it a... No, we're not gonna make a Booming Blade. My sheet. Roll the attack it is.
We'll have it eventually.
At some point.
Ah,
Oh, roll 20. I mean, like, I'm glad you opened roll 20, but if you could work, that would be
Hello.
wonderful.
hello.
Just absolutely
Have you guys
fantastic.
canned the tuna yet?
We're waiting for Conrad's sheet to roll the attack he made on the
Ah.
last
Yeah.
marrow. It's taking a while, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah, I've clicked it.
You want
It's
this
just-
manual? There it is.
There we go.
There we go. That's one.
Okay, that hits, and that's enough. How do you want to do that?
Oh, sweet. Yeah, so as he kind of swings through it, he goes to try to like step on its tail so that it gets, you know, pushed down so it can't run away. And his foot just goes right, like pushes it down into the water. He's like, oh shit, and just like swings the sword out of reaction and kills it.
Okay. Its turn is gone off the initiative tracker. You have one more attack, you have movement, you have bonus action. What do you want to do with it?
I can't hold just a single attack, can I?
No.
I'm pretty sure it takes the attack action in either interpretation.
Yeah, I figured.
hmm
In that case, I will use my. Let's just see if I'm within melee range of this thing right now. Do I get opportunity attack?
No.
Okay. In that case, I will step up to here. Is the boat still floating like upside down, or is it like sinking?
It kind of went sideways and then tipped you out and slammed back into position, so it's kind of floating upright. It's fine.
Okay. In that case, he's going to step around the boat, such as not to get it tossed around and possibly sunken, I'm sorry, Cold. I'm not within range of the aura, but I'll be okay. I swear.
That's on you,
That'll
man.
help. Yep. Sword of Thorns, and if that hits, we're gonna do a Frighten.
That hits, and the frighten goes off. Let me go ahead and get a wisdom save in there. It is
I'm not sure if
frightened.
they can be I want to check their immunities first. I'm not sure if they can
yep.
be frightened.
Frightened is not on the list. It
Okay,
can be
cool.
frightened.
A surprising amount of things can actually be like charmed and frightened that you wouldn't think.
Yeah, I'm just always nervous because things like prone and all that aren't available.
7 damage.
Right,
Okay.
And yeah, that'll be all.
All right.
And I think.
Mhm.
Oh, never mind.
All right. This elemental is afraid. And so let's see. Yeah, it's gonna. Nope. It's gonna slam attack disadvantage. 1 on Calda, 1 on Kane. Calda? 14. Kane 12. Nope.
Right. God, I love frightened.
Yep. That's gonna be it for that. Ace Methods.
Stockpile. They're going because their speed is 30. Can they all?
Actually, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay.
Yep, they're all gonna kind of like over to here, over to here. And this guy will move over here. And I'm gonna roll 46. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 claw attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my god.
Oh. Okay. 4, 3, 7, and 12, 18. The last one misses. 18 damage across them.
Get 'em,
Not
boys.
As you see the ice spreading across the elemental's form once again, slowing it down, but it still seems to be holding together for now. Elaris,
Yeah.
what do you like to do?
Alright, so this one has a relatively low AC.
From what you've been seeing, but you've had trouble hitting them regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
Only really when you try very hard to aim for a weak point. You're having difficulty figuring out where the weak points are for sharpshooter, basically.
In the ball of water.
Yep.
Big
The
wall
20
of
hits, the
water.
13 does not. You do
Okay.
9 piercing damage.
Nice.
I wonder who has higher accuracy in this fight, Alaris or the Methods.
Don't ask.
I say it more because I want to be happy for the Methods rather than dunking on you, but I'm sorry.
It's fine.
All right, Alsana,
It's
what would you
fine,
like to do?
Alright, I mean,
This is just
why break it if it's working? This water elemental doesn't look particularly rough, does it?
It's taken some damage. It's looking tattered. Yeah,
Alright.
it's starting to look rough.
She'll
I'll say
do a frostbite. We'll see how it goes first.
Okay.
6,
Someday
alright.
it'll succeed a con save, not this day.
She'll throw 2 scythes on it.
Okay.
2d10.
Another 8. All right. It's looking rougher.
Alright.
Okay.
Hold back
Calda.
on the healing word. Yep, that'll be your turn.
Okay, does Calder remember how big the radius is for the method, like, explodey thing?
It wasn't enormous. I'm pretty sure it was you were right next to it. You were basically on top of it at the time.
10 feet. If
10
you're
feet?
here.
That's...
Because Alsana would, again, she explained her spells earlier.
Yep.
And
All
if
right.
ice methods were the ones she was going to go with, then
Okay, so if this one explodes, that's gonna be amazing. Okay.
they're immune to cold.
What do you mean?
Sorry, I thought you meant like they're going to chain reaction.
No, I'm gonna switch my thing, but should I? The second one's not there, so I'm just gonna keep Divine Favor for now. So let's just do 2 attacks.
All right. 16 hits. Yep, 17 damage, and that also hits. For 20, 29, 31 points of damage.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow, okay, it looks extremely rough. It's looking tattered and torn.
Call's gonna give a nod to Kane.
Yep.
As Kane stands there with
Sorry,
dial-up sound effects.
Because Kane was.
Oh.
All right.
What,
Kane,
what are
go
you
ahead.
signifying to Kane? I missed it. Sorry.
Oh, the elemental's looking to look really rough, so go for it.
Kick his ass,
Cool. He's
Seabass.
gonna make sure you're aware that there's another elemental around here somewhere.
Wait, I was
Um,
frightened. I'm dumb.
The other elemental does nothing.
Yeah.
Kane, what would you like to do?
Terrifying. Okay. Kane is going to just double swing again.
14 to hit.
Believe
That
14 to
is enough. How do you want to do that?
Oh, okay. Kind of a simple thing. He swings his sword, and drips into water.
As the water elemental just kind of shatters and splashes at the same time. It just drops into the salty water of the lake. And
Can he get like a little bit of a droplet of the water elemental on his tongue as it dies?
roll a quick dexterity check.
Okay.
18. Sure, you get a droplet of the water elemental on your tongue.
Is
It's
the water elemental also salty?
salty and warm.
Disgusting. I regret asking. Okay. Alright. And Kane is going to take a step to right here, just so he's within Calda's thing. And he's going to put a hand on the boat, just in case it goes after the boat.
All right, you steady yourself. You wait. Nothing happens. You look around. You listen.
If possible, Asana will command one of the ice mephits to retrieve one of the frozen pieces of water elemental.
I'm going to say it's not possible in this case.
All right.
These things kind of dissolve, diffuse,
Okay.
especially in this much water. So, with that, everything seems to have ended. The other elemental does not return, doesn't make itself known at least.
Asana,
You have the island less than an hour ahead of you.
can Asana float over and basically check the pockets of the marrow?
All right. Roll investigation.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say Kane's going to try to steal their harpoons.
Nope.
Nope. In fact, you don't even find the harpoons.
Oh.
They sunk to it.
Probably. Or at least Alsana didn't. Kane, you can make an investigation check if you want.
Sweet. Because I just want more weapons.
You find one harpoon where the rope for it had kind of tangled around its fishtail.
Okay. So it is attached to a rope then?
Basically. They can reel it back in. That's how they do the strength contest.
Oh, okay. I never quite understood how that worked. Thank you. Yeah, in that case, he's going to keep that. He might hook the harpoon onto his, the rope to his belt, just in case he
Okay.
needs to throw it in a pinch.
All right. It's basically a 60-foot rope for the maximum range. So range 20-60, 2d6 plus strength piercing damage, and if the target is a huge or smaller creature, it must succeed on a strength contest against you or be pulled up to 20 feet towards you.
Definitely adding that to my sheet. That's awesome. Kane is a
would it-
very, very happy man.
Not to do it down, but their size is large and Kane's size is medium.
True. So, one size larger than you, so larger, smaller creature for you.
Sorry, but
No.
That
that's
sounded
fair.
like grapple rules.
I was just reading off the thing. So yeah.
No, that makes sense.
I'll allow the 2d6 because of the forked pronged head. It's nasty.
Is it two-handed?
Range is 20-60. It's not two-hand.
But 2d6?
Reach, yeah, it's two-handed if you're in like a melee. Yeah. Let's say it's two-handed for this. Requires strength, of course, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. For reeling it in, technically the Marrows could only use the harpoon once as part of their multi-attack. And so
Right.
I'm going to say that you're only going to be able to throw it one time and then reel it back in.
As like
I'm
a
not gonna
second
really-
action.
Makes sense.
No, as basically you cannot throw, reel.
Okay.
It's it's not quite crossbow rules generally, where you can only shoot one bolt in a turn no matter how many attack actions you have, or rather, no, how many attacks you have. But it's a little bit
It does
that.
take too long to reel,
Yeah,
basically.
I'm not going to require an action to reel it in. I will allow you to have it
Yeah.
reeled in as kind of basically a free action.
But the whole thing
But-
takes an action.
But yes, you can
Gotcha.
only throw it once in an action.
And that's piercing damage, I assume, right?
Yeah, piercing.
Also, I assume it like suffers from no disadvantages of being underwater.
Yeah, harpoons
trident?
generally don't. Yeah.
Any piercing weapon doesn't, yeah.
All right.
Alright.
With that, I assume you guys head onwards, as I am very much hoping to get to the island and get through this session, and it's not
Yep.
really seeming
We're
to
going.
happen.
We're going.
Yeah.
Do the methods disappear by the time they get there?
Yeah. Basically, you summon them like half an hour out, and you've got a little bit less than an hour before the island, so they disappear just before you get there.
Yep, fine by me.
Okay. As I take a couple notes down real quick. All right. You guys reach the island without any further issues or interruptions. You see no further signs of any elementals or marrow, occasional shadows under the water, but those seem to be rocks. And eventually you kind of fetch the boat up against the rocky shore. A small part of the island where it seems a landing is possible, and indeed it seems like a landing may have been made. It doesn't really require a perception check, as you're able to see up on the rocky beach some shattered remains of what looks like planks of wood, possibly from a previous boat.
Can Alsana give a perception for corpses?
Alsana can give a perception for corpses.
With-
Go ahead.
With guidance?
Yeah, you're peering around with guidance. All right.
She's very perception with corpse perception.
25. You take a good look around. You don't see corpses. You don't see signs of corpses. No bones. You don't even see any stains on the wood that look like blood. You do, however, see something of a path leading up from the shore towards a cave entrance.
Alsana has this slight disappointed look on her face.
Well, I think we are officially the first people to ever make it to this island alive, at least in recent memory.
Oh, also with that perception, Alsana, the smell in the air, it's as salty as ever, but there's something rancid about the scent as well. It's not corpses, it's not rot in that way. There's just something very, very foul about the smell of this place, and specifically the water.
Could she roll a medicine to identify that kind of smell? Basically, if
you
it
could.
does it relate to any sort of like medical product or
Go ahead and make a
substance?
medicine check then. You also notice that all of the rocks, the path, the boulders, the crags, are kind of, especially lower to the water, they're kind of slick with the green sludge of,
algae moss?
you know, that mossy algae, yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, okay, gotcha.
As she's do it later. Okay, medicine with guidance.
Sure.
22.
22.
That was a
think your
7.
way over. It doesn't seem like there's anything in this area that should cause this kind of
Stench.
issue with the water. But something is very distinctly wrong with it in general. Basically, this water doesn't seem like it. You
Doesn't
even if
seem
it
safe
wasn't
to drink.
salt, even if it wasn't salt, you wouldn't want it in your mouth.
Okay. Fair enough. She just kind of gives a glance around. It's like something about the water isn't good to ingest, even if you were something that would be fine with salt. She's also
Alright.
going to give a scrape up of the algae moss. Does it seem standard? Is it like your regular kind of algae?
Nature check.
All right.
I'm sorry, you're looking at various things and trying to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah. I'm not like
Hey.
I'm not concerned about rolling for checks. It's what she
Yeah.
does. 24.
24.
Okay.
Seems
Kane's gonna
natural.
just, like,
Kane's gonna.
Kane's gonna just step out a little bit, just a bit more onto the shore and into the island a little bit, just like the farmer survey, like hands on the hips and just deep breath and look around.
Mhm. Right.
I think our path is into the cavern, unfortunately.
All
Up
of
to-
you
up to the Flago.
here, all of you here, somewhere in the back of your minds, a deep, deep rumbling voice
I already hate
says
it.
something that you don't understand, and then it says, "Come, new ones,
Kane's gonna
shipwrecked
turn to them.
castaways, come to me."
Make no mistake, we come looking for you.
Alsana, what is your greatest desire?
Oh boy.
Okay.
This is
Hey,
This
we talked
is-
about
you
this.
can- yeah. Go ahead and refresh my memory. You can DM it to me if you don't want it in the chat. We do not have a whisper channel on here, and it would be in recording anyway because you're recording.
Yep.
But it's not a question that's asked. It's just something known.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Does anybody else respond?
Kane was gonna turn to the rest of the party and goes, I say we go back to shore and fucking leave this place. Because he is spooked.
I think Calder would just go, what?
What?
Calda
Oh,
and
no.
Alaris, go ahead and tell me what your character's greatest desires are.
Okay.
DMs?
You did ask me this
Yeah.
once.
But that was for general DM purposes. This is encounter specific.
Ah, okay. I'm not sure if it's more or less terrifying that you asked that for a completely separate reason other than an encounter.
Hmm.
Typey.
Yep.
Is this the roll 20 equivalent to whispers?
It is unfortunately the Roll20 equivalent to whispers.
Unfortunately, gotta do it.
It's
Gotta do it
almost
this way because you can't hop out of the recording.
Yep.
Yep, fair. This game brought to you by Ariel, the artist. She is basically God here, and we all treat her as such.
Ariel's God in 2 ways.
Yes, she is both the creator of this game and just therefore overall wonderful person. So she is therefore
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, she graces us with a spoken prophecy in the form of a piece of art that we all just melt over. This game brought to you by her.
Yikes.
Also brought to you by Alsana's Terrifying Questions.
Ah,
It's a sponsor we work with hesitantly, but it is a sponsor nonetheless.
it's controversial in some cases.
Yeah, it's like that sponsor that's like, you know, we're not gonna go without it, but every once in a while we're just like, huh.
Yeah. Also, D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
That's
This game also brought to you by the infectious bug of D&D that Matthew Mercer has caused in millions of people. Thank you, Matthew.
Matthew.
You are also God.
Thank you to the cast of Critical Role. Yeah.
I'm
Just
sorry, I
'cause.
can't believe we're still going with this fucking.
And thank you to
bit.
Laura Bailey for leaving the awards show mid-ceremony just to play D&D. Even knowing if she won or not. And everyone being like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, whatever the hell I want, which is the best response. Because thank you, Laura Bailey.
Ariel is furiously typing to all the players.
Oh,
Yeah.
three
Oh,
of
God.
them. Kane was the only one who was like, nope, and did not do a thing.
Kane ain't
Uh-oh.
talking about this thing, you kidding me?
Uh-oh. Because I'm like, I hear Ariel typing, I'm getting the impending doom, then I look at my DMs and I go, uh-oh.
The DMs.
Because I'm like, that typing's for me. Fuck.
Oh, man. We do need to add that a whisper chant. That's quite.
What if, like, I was like, what's your strongest desire? And someone just went, waffles.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be fantastic.
Oh, hold on, I need to find this thing. I need to
There's
find
a lot of
That's-
typing, and it's for me, and I don't like this.
Yeah, it's John now.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's a whispers channel now. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, really? What?
I forgot that I'm in charge of the Discord.
You are.
Oh, there is. But the thing is that with a Whispers channel, Devons would still be picked up on recording.
Well, yeah, but other than Devons. I love that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just like. What if someone's just like a really good cheesecake?
Ooh.
Oh, by the way, Devin, if you do come by this weekend, again, I do need to finish an entire cheesecake.
I can't.
Just saying.
Oh god.
No, you know, I
Oh.
don't.
It's a lactose-free one, right?
No, I have another one that I also need to finish.
Oh, damn it. I can come over and eat the lactose-free ice cream, because fuck you, that's good.
I forgot to have my reward piece of cake.
I think Alars is having some fun.
Oh, no.
Yeah, when you go. Oh, I have so much cheesecake to give people. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
All right, as these conversations kind of dip in and out of people's minds, Kane, the only one exempt except for one final come.
Alzana starts walking.
He begins to march back to the boat until he sees people start walking the other direction.
Well, it's gonna slowly start walking. Not full 30 feet, but still just slowly.
All right.
Y'all? Where are you going? Guys. He's gonna like grab Alaris by like the shoulder.
We're not under any odd charm effect, don't worry.
No.
He seems ominous, if amiable.
Ominous, yeah.
Yes, which seems like a very good reason to not be here.
Kane, there's clearly something not right here. There's clearly something that's actively killing sailors.
I think we should check it out.
Calda, I don't like the tone, and I know I'm in no position to say it. But we should go have a conversation, as this is much more of a kind reception we've gotten than with anything else in our journeys. And we should be. We've had the word. Now, mind you, I doubt he. Is it a he? And she just gives a quick thought.
We can use it, they, them for now. Regardless, Do none of you see this as potentially a trap at all? The fact that it's welcoming us.
Although
Should we
I
at least take a rest first to potentially
hold on,
recover
my
from
dad-
the
my dad
water
was
elementals?
Xanthus.
Alsana will also give a thought. Would you mind if we just took a breather? We were harrowed on the way here. We'll come in, don't worry. Just in a moment. I'm sure you can see where we are anyways.
Mm.
This was
Furious typing.
This whispering brought to you by. Oh, what the fuck? Oh no no! Good
What the
lord,
fuck?
it's
Oh
eating
god.
us.
Oh shit.
It's-
Oh
it's-
fuck.
It speaks the dead language of furious typing.
Yep.
It's not a dead language, but it's a language that will get you fucking killed. That's for sure.
You know what? On that note, Alsana goes out on a limb and thinks for herself. This I'm about to debut Ariel in Abyssal.
In Abyssal?
Yep.
Okay.
Caldo would have stopped walking at this point as well.
Sorry, let me
Yeah.
look at my sheet to make a check. Oh god.
All right, Kane, what are you in need of recovering?
I don't know how to do this in a non-meta way. I want to get my martial dice back. My superiority dice.
How long was it from the time we went from the water
Like
elemental?
half an hour, she said.
Half an hour.
Less than an hour, and he was kind of busy driving the boat.
Yep.
doing
Fair enough.
Okay.
I have my magic. I think this is going to be the best chance for amiability we have. Retreat is an option. Let's go.
Sorry, I missed a little bit of that.
Retreat is an option. I think this is the best chance we have of perhaps settling this without just beating the snot out of each other for once.
Ilaris, you get the sense of Xanthus behind you. Not physically there, but in spirit, in your mind, in your soul. And you get the sense of him almost instructing you to hold tight.
Please hold.
And and the vague whispered thought that nothing is beyond death, no matter what promises are made. But he imparts nothing else. And between the two presences, the deep unknown ones fade slightly. It's not lingering, really, in any of you, but the sense of it, the thought of it, the almost connection does wane a bit for you, Ilaris, as you reached out to Xanthus. Anybody else doing anything?
Let's be off and get this
Was
done
it a
with.
yay or a nay to the rest?
I think we should just go in at this point. Basically, I he's not going to let us have a rest. I don't think.
Okay, because you asked and then didn't say anything because.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah. The quote is.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah. If you don't come now, you'll be sent for. Sorry.
Okay.
That was me fucking that up. Sorry about that. Yep. He's like, yeah. If we don't come now, he'll send for us. I don't think he's going to let us sit here for an hour. Let's just go.
So, we're being forced to the negotiation table with the crossbow to our back. Yes, sounds like a great way to do some reasoning. Let's
Do
go.
you have a better way to go in here, Kane?
I think we should leave still.
We're
Come
not
back with some
leaving.
reinforcements. Now that we know this is a large creature, possibly in command of a number of water elementals. If it's able to do that, frankly, I'm not sure we can handle it. But if you say we have to go, I suppose we're gonna go, aren't we?
You people are the reinforcements I've brought last time. Whatever's happening, and she's walking as she's saying this, it's hurting the people of that village. We can't just let it sit. And she starts walking in. We can always run out.
Okay, this whole time is. Yeah, sure, we can run once we get into the caverns. That'll work wonderfully for us. I think we can talk in the back of our minds.
Well, Sana, are we just your reinforcements in this situation?
You know what? I have the spell. Fair enough. She's going to, as they're walking, 1 minute, conjure minor elementals again.
Okay.
Bring up our frost buddies once more.
All right. You now have 4 frost buddies.
Also, sorry, just a small thing, but she would have, on the way here, re-upped water breathing. Because it's been more than an hour.
Isn't water
yeah,
breathing
yeah.
24 hours?
Sorry, water walk.
Water walk.
Yep, she
All
would.
right. Okay. As you guys march forward up the slope into the caverns, you find a darkened subterranean almost area where the floor slopes downwards, but not steeply, kind of in a meandering sort of direction. There's occasional places where a turnoff or a gap in the stone lets in some fresh air. But you note that everything inside of here seems to be perpetually damp, almost slimy. As you go deeper, you begin to find areas where the rock seems to have been worked. You find a place where there are several beds, intact, roughly made of wood. It seems like the same sort of wood that you might find washed up on a shore: driftwood, scrap wood, broken pieces of boats. There's makeshift mattresses and blankets, partitions of sailcloth and rope, in order to make various rooms of caverns and cubbies in the rock. In a large room, you see flanked by a couple of torches, the light glistening off of the damp and slimy stone around it. A very large carved stone. It looks like it was painstakingly done. There are strange swirl designs carved around the border of it. And they're carved so well and so intricately that they almost have that illusory effect. When you look at them in the corner of your eye, they almost seem to be moving. The words themselves, however, in the center of the rock are in common. Any one of you could read it, or one could read it to the others if you want. Just let me know where I'm basically pasting this.
Probably Alaris would see it first, just to his vision.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Alaris. If you'd like to read it out loud, say so. If not, whoever else would like to step up and take a look.
Okay.
Osana will as well.
Hear now the promise of the sea, endless and absolute, fathomless and eternal. The sea is life, the sea is sustenance, the sea is shelter and home. Its winds shape our very existence. Without it, we are nothing. Pity the lives of those who have never felt its splendor or marveled at its thoughtless mercies, cruelties alike. For in the sea we find ourselves. No more shall the peoples of this plain waste away their pitiful existence devoid of the boundless seas, ignorant and prideful, without the reminder of its majesty. For the sea shall come to us. So says our master of the deep, who knows the unknowable in its entirety, and compared to whom we are mere drops, formless and forgotten, if not for our service. Heed his will, abide by his words, answer his call, and be rewarded beyond measure of life and death. For when the seas rise with a new dawn, with a new era, his own shall rise with them, and command all the world shall be theirs.
Shame he had something good going for him at the start, but that end of...
Alsana, Elaris, make a wisdom saving throw. I believe you
Ah.
both are half elves, so you have advantage.
Mhm.
Oh,
Ariel, just
And
a question.
we're-
What's
we're-
the
Yeah, how close is Calda?
Oh, she's probably close enough to have the +4. All right.
Calder, do you immunize to charm or no?
nice.
No, it's fear.
33.
Okay.
Yep. You each
So do I have,
have
the +4 as
a
well?
brief snap of pain in the back of your head as you feel something start to push and instinctively push back against it. It hurts for a moment. You take 1 point of psychic damage, but then nothing else happens.
All right. Can she give a quick Arcana check on that?
You can give a quick Arcana check, sure.
Yeah,
15.
so.
Yeah, Alaris as well. Go ahead.
Oh, didn't mean to do that advantage.
So 3 less 10. 10 and 15. Alaris, you're not quite sure what happened. You just read this thing, and as soon as you finished reading, you felt something. You pushed back. It hurt.
I don't know if the
Alsana,
I don't know if the 33 gave me any bonuses here, but
no, it didn't.
all right.
Alsana, there was probably some kind of magic embedded in this, and you know from like the feel of certain things, it was probably some kind of charm, and it seems to have come with some kind of punishment for resisting the charm.
Yep. All right. And she looks over and goes, "Oh, okay. Kane, can you grab a sheet from your bag?"
Yeah, he should still have a bunch of paper from when he last.
No,
Took
like
the
no,
lunch.
like a tarp.
Oh, like tarp?
Camp blanket, anything.
I think I just have a tarp.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. She'll just grab it,
use one
throw it
previously.
over the plaque.
Oh, let me guess. The creepy caves we've been brought into, or some kind of creepy plaque.
Are you stating the obvious or what?
Just questioning the wisdom of us going in here. That's all.
First time for everything, I guess. She continues on.
Okay. You press onwards, and before long, you find yourselves stepping out onto sort of an outcropping that leads into a larger cavern, larger than any of the others you've come across. You've been walking for several minutes. Your mephits are still around you. It hasn't been as long as an hour. But it has been a bit of a walk. There's a torch at the corner of the platform, casting just a little illumination at this corner of the cavern. You see some steps leading downwards to the rocky floor. And across the cavern, you see a large pool with water falling into it from what looks like the mouth of a stone carving high up near the cavern ceiling. Of what looks like the head of some sort of fish, but deformed and strange, with tendrils of stone trailing off of it and several eyes. Framing this pool, high above it, are more carved stone outcroppings that swirl around.
Can I,
You see a stone platform on pillars leading out into or over the pool, with more steps leading up to it. Every surface in this area, like every surface in the subterranean areas you've been walking so far, is glistening in the light, cold and slimy to the touch. Technically, you guys have been traveling at half speed due to difficult terrain this
Alsana's
entire
on the
time.
broom.
Except for Alsana on the broom. Looking out into this cave, you actually see a smattering of people in various parts of the cavern. 3 are standing near the entrance you've come out from. As I check some notes, you see, let's see. You see a human, man nearby. He looks fairly young, 20s, 30s perhaps. There's a there's got to be an easy way to do this. There's a female halfling nearby him. Close to both of them, there's a dwarf male with a beard shot with just a little bit of gray. Across the cavern, standing on the high platform, you see a couple more humans, and interestingly enough, a tiefling. Beside the platform, there's another halfling. Further into the shadows of the cavern, another human. They are all turned towards you, looking and waiting expectantly.
Hmm. Can Alsana give some sort of check on that statue?
What kind of check are you going for?
Does she know what the hell that thing is trying to represent? Is it a god? Is it a...
A religion check, maybe?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try a religion check, sure. We don't do very
Can, in the
many of
meantime,
those.
check behind to make sure no one's like following us in.
Perception.
For reference as well, her nature and her arcana
I'll
are
help,
the
by
same,
the way.
so if there's any like side things here
Yeah,
as
I'll
well
help you with the perception.
Okay.
with the guidance.
Kane, you look back. You don't see anything. You don't hear anything.
18.
18. It's got the placement and the shape of it. And the fact that there is this stone almost pier jutting out in over the pool, facing it, almost suggests a sort of an altar of reverence. It may be at least worshipped as a god, but you don't know of any gods in this shape or associated with this imagery.
Mhm.
Before you, the dwarf nearby speaks up and says, "You answered his call. Good. Step forward. Come. Know him. Meet him.
Okay, just looks at Asana.
Well worth
This is
your
your
while."
pilgrimage. Go ahead.
Sorry, what's the dimensions of the pool?
It pretty much fills one corner of this cavern. It's pretty large. You would be able to fly across the widest point of it, basically one turn with your broom.
Okay. So about 50 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's like one corner of it to another because it is in a corner.
Just gonna...
The edge of
Okay.
the bottom step of the pier-like platform, probably about 60 feet from where you're standing. The furthest edge, 75 roughly.
Just gonna go take a few slow steps forward.
Yep.
And she's just gonna roll the unicorn horn in her pocket and cast Detect Good and Evil.
Okay. Interesting.
So that is...
Go ahead and give that a click just so I can see all the details again.
I'll give her a copy and paste.
Yeah, that's right. Creation, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, where it's located. Place or object, monster, consecrated or desecrated. 1 foot of stone, common mental. Alright. Yeah.
Just
As
giving
you're
that
walking
a
forward.
repetitive ping because she can do it at will as she's walking up.
Okay. You're not noticing anything as you're walking forward. A further note, the lighting in this chamber.
Or,
There's the
sorry,
single
floating
torch.
forward.
Floating. Fair enough, you don't even have to go down the steps. You just kind of float down and avoid them entirely. There's a single torch near the entrance where you came in, and that light kind of fills that corner of the cavern. the opposite corner is also well lit, with 2 torches at the end of the pier, and almost a little bit of a glow to the top of the statue itself. But the main strip of the cavern, the other 2 corners, the central section, is cast in darkness. Anyone with dark vision can, of course, see in general out to about 60 feet, which is plenty, really. Except for maybe like the furthest corners, depending on where you are at any given time.
Osana will just real quick say, Calda, Halaris, I know you heard something too. Come on.
Calda stays put.
Call to stays put?
Yep.
Okay.
Her hands are still on the sword.
Calda, come on.
Am I to be your reinforcement?
What would the check be? Would it be like a deception, I guess? For Alsana?
What are you trying to do?
She's basically going to say no to be here for this great god, but in reality she's saying to Calda, no, get over here, I don't want to solo whatever we're about to kill.
Interesting. I'm going to say it's actually going to be potentially it might be performance,
All right.
because you're trying to persuade Calda but also deceive everybody else. Actually, is there any difference between your persuasion and
No,
deception?
it's all raw charisma.
Roll raw charisma.
Okay, she's guiding herself though because she knows she's no good at this.
Calda has a response to it?
Of note, everybody sees you casting guidance on yourself, and so
Also, you probably shouldn't cast guidance if you have your methods up, because it'll break
Concentration, you're right.
yep.
Alright, we're just doing raw charisma. 15.
I have a response to it. Do I have to make an insight check? Oh, fuck. So I have an in-character response to this.
Go ahead and make the in-character response to it.
Yeah, can I make an intimidation check towards it or just Calda still taking the sword out? You should have thought of that before you called us reinforcements.
Are you trying to bluff that you're against Alsana?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Well, not bluff. Calda is against Alsana.
Yeah.
Calda is against Alsana.
All right.
At this point, she's trying to scare her.
Roll intimidation. I honestly don't know what the DC would be. 24. Alsana, I'm pretty
Seems pretty
sure that
good.
Calda's kind of scary right now. How you choose to play that is up to you, but as a note, 24 is pretty good on an intimidation check.
Yep.
Yeah,
How
I
does
have
Alsana respond?
contractual obligations. I'm not sure I'm allowed to be here.
Sorry, John, you're really quiet if you're saying something.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I have. Alaris is basically just like, I have contractual obligations, and he flashes his crossbow. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to be here right now.
The dwarf
Kane's just
smiles
gonna-
at you and says, "There are no obligations. Everything is cleared away, washed clean. Trust me.
Kane's
If you
just gonna-
don't want those obligations, they needn't matter.
If any of them walk closer, Calda's taking her sword out.
None of them are moving closer. In fact, they're kind of shuffling to the side in order to allow you clearer passage towards the opposite end of the cavern.
Kane's just gonna kind of place a hand on Calda's shoulder of just... Calda, do me a favor and just stay here a moment. I'm gonna see what's going on up ahead. And Alaris, just keep an eye out, please.
Out of curiosity, did Calda understand at all what Alsana was trying to get at there? Or...
Oh, should I make a check just for Alsana's charisma thing?
That's what I'm wondering, because I was specifically trying to be like, we're actually, I'm not going along with this in actuality here.
Yeah, go ahead and do an insight check if you'd like. 15, nothing changes, so whatever you were thinking before, you're thinking now.
Calda's
About
still
that.
angry.
Is it a competitive
I was gonna
check,
say,
or is
that's-
it-
It's
Like-
oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right. It's not competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, it's probably meets it beats it. Calda, you got the gist of Alsana asking for backup.
If Kane's going, Calda's gonna go.
Yeah,
I've
Kane's
seen
gonna step
brain.
forward instead because he sees the kind of tension. It's like, Fuck, I'm the only neutral party here. God damn it.
All right.
And
You
he's
start-
gonna kind of just
Hey, it's not my own
forward shield
choice,
on
though.
his arm.
What was Alaris
Lars, you
saying?
stay back.
It's
I
not a
watched
large
someone with
choice
Calda.
that he's against it. It's just that he doesn't want to
Yeah, yeah.
he doesn't really want to muddy things with all the progress he's made with Xanthus.
Well, yeah, that's why Kane is, because he's the only one who feels sane, and he knows Alaris' other obligations. So
Yeah.
he also wants to make sure that there's one melee and one ranged at each end of this terrible, terrible decision we're about.
Yes.
Alsana looks over and to the dwarf who talked, and just, so how exactly does this go? Do we meet this one we've been talking to in person?
Of course. Just step up to the end of the pier, and he will appear to you.
I don't trust
Kane's
this
gonna stand about
Alsana.
10 feet back from wherever Alsana goes.
Okay, 10 feet back from Alsana. Calda, are you with Kane?
A little bit in front of him, actually.
A
Sorry.
little bit in front of him. So are you like 5 feet from Alsana, 5 feet from Kane, right between the two?
Right between the two, just so they're both getting the
Okay.
aura right now.
And
And
In that case, he'll drop back to 20 feet behind Alsana, then stay within 10 feet of Calda.
Okay. Alaris, are you staying by the entrance where you came in?
Staying by the entrance.
The dwarf turns and kind of holds out a hand in welcoming gesture. You needn't be afraid. He's not, how do I put this? He won't bite, I think is the phrase.
I appreciate the warning, sir, but this is how I operate.
Calda, do you still have that drink I gave you? It'd be a good occasion for it, if it's cause to celebrate.
you know how long it lasts? I can check it now.
I believe when I gave you it, I told you how long it lasted.
No, you did not.
Or is
I
it?
just-
No, it's just the book one.
Ty doesn't know it.
I
Uh,
I couldn't.
checking.
Yeah, no, I'm checking the generic item because the reason I wouldn't have had it written down to
Believe
give
it's
you to
minutes?
write down was if it was in the book, so it's an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Okay.
It's up to you. I mean, you could save such a drink for a later occasion, but it is a fine year. She says, probably not convincing anyone. Do you want to give a deception or?
Go ahead and do a deception.
All right, 6.
You see the human at the end of the pier in slightly nicer clothes than others. There's like a little bit of there's like a blue sash across his chest. Hold out his hands and say, "There's no need for that."
Call this checking the potion.
Ah, I see. Shame not to have any faith or trust.
Uh-oh.
Sorry,
Still,
ladies and gentlemen.
You came in peace so far.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have to drag you kicking and screaming back to your families.
Ah, I see. So that's how it is. At this point, Alsana, you have just reached the base of the stairs of the pier.
Yeah, she's not getting out on the pier, but she's
yeah.
about there.
Yep. You do a quick ping with the wand as you're saying this, and you get the sense of within 30 feet an aberration.
There it is.
At the same time, I need another wisdom saving throw at advantage from you, please.
Ready?
With +4 from Calda. You can't.
20.
You can't fail this.
Pass.
You feel something try to take hold of your mind, and you shrug it off as just then you see a slimy, wet, glistening scaled head breach the surface of the water briefly, look towards you. 3 dark eyes up its brow, flashing in your direction. The living mirror of the enormous stone sculpture high above it.
Mhm.
And you hear the deep voice in the back of your mind once more. Now, isn't that rude? Trying to take what is mine when I've invited you into my home.
Uh-oh.
You've taken the spot of the natural world. You've invaded our area. You're a blight to this nature. And she's going to start casting something and roll initiative.
All right. Yep. Let's go ahead and roll up.
Kane in his mind is just like, I just wanted to fish.
Well, we've got a big one.
But
It's a big one, Kane.
I said in his mind. You can't read my mind.
this guy.
Are we doing this today? We can have time, guys.
Do we have time? Can we do this?
No.
I wanted to, but this might not work.
I just rolled. My hands
have
are
school
shaking so
tomorrow, y'all.
much.
Okay. We will have to
I
save
got
it for
tomorrow.
next.
I gotta be up and do construction.
All right, we'll save it for next time. Go ahead and roll up initiatives just to have them in there, so we can jump right in next time, whenever that may be.
We're fighting a Kraken.
Yeah, sorry. I really don't think we have time.
Yeah, that's fine. This would probably take an hour, and it would be late.
Mhm.
That is fair. All right. So for next time. Oh, also, Alsana, you've got 4 ice methods somewhere
Yep.
in the room.
Mhm.
Try and
One might
go ahead and
one might have been on her shoulder for fun.
sure. We'll just kind of
do you want me to-
pop one
Yep.
right next to you.
You're dragging him. Got it.
Go ahead and reposition the others as you wish and roll their initiative.
I'll have one guy over
So.
here.
Yeah.
I'll have had one left back with Alaris. And you know what? This guy here. One per person.
Okay. So until next time.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's not going to be. That'll probably be in the new year. So much for getting you guys through this as a one shot.
I was trying to move it. I'm sorry.
I know. I was trying to, but it didn't work. It's okay.
We are a very roleplay heavy party.
We are.
Yes.
Quick thing, out of curiosity, was Calda thinking that Alsana was actually going along with it, or was it something else that she's not getting?
Calda has an insight of no, but Calda's also pissed that you kept calling her reinforcements.
Yikes.
All right.
Calda's
And then-
genuinely angry, and she
And then
didn't
when
care
Calda-
whether or not you were going with this.
Yeah, no.
And when called asked, "Are we just your reinforcements?" you just didn't answer.
Yeah, Calda went, "Are we just your reinforcements?" And you went nothing. And Calda's been pissed ever since.
When was that? Because I might have actually missed it.
Right before we walked in, and you called us reinforcements for the first time, and it went silent for a bit, and Calda asked that, and there was nothing.
All right.
And Kane's pissed because
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, let's go to the lake forever ago," and you were like, "No, it's terrible." And now we're here, and you're like, "No, let's go for it." I'm like, "Fuck you."
All right.
So we're gonna kill what I'm 90% sure is an Avalon.
Yeah, I knew it was Raveler from the second we walked up there, but I was trying my
True, but I never
damnedest.
know because Ariel sometimes fucks with shit, so I'm not sure. Look, so we kill the Aboleth, and then we tie Alsana in a rope and drag her back to the shore, right? Just for punishment.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Yep.
Until next time.
Okay.
Ugh.
Uh,